that up. Good Saturday, my fellow denizens of the Omniverse. Hope everybody's having a solid Saturday so far. I'm a little tired. I actually woke up at 10 this morning, which is probably the earliest I've woken up on a Saturday in a long time. Had a Bleach to record, which is up on the channel now with all my watch-alongs now restored to Patreon. When got some shitty mall Japanese food, which was delicious, but I'm starting to hit that regret point. But sometimes you just gotta do it. You just gotta rip that band-aid off and enjoy it. Got my weekly shots, and yeah, we're good to go. Still need to continue up on more Final Fantasy 7, or 7, Jesus, 16, which I'm going to try to do tonight. I want at some point after take a nap and go see the new Insidious movie. What's up, Real Eric? Happy weekend, y'all. What's up, DJ? Howdy, howdy. Got a lightsaber. What would your style look like? What color of kyber crystal and what era would I be in? Era, probably Old Republic. Lightsaber style, I mean, something basic. I don't like flashy looking lightsabers. Something clean. Black and silver, more than likely. Maybe some gunmetal grays. Kyber crystal is going to be a purple. Lightsaber would be a double-bladed with a silver and gold design. Be purple and white kyber crystal. Era would be Old Republic, inspired by the Maul, Revan, and Ahsoka. Yeah, mine would be kind of similar to Cal's, where you can kind of do what you want. You can staff it, you can duel it, or you can single. Just to fit my mood and the occasion. So everyone remembers Flash falling on Wonder Woman, but no one remembers Banner falling on Widow. That's weird. Honestly, I also don't remember Banner falling on Widow. To be honest, I actually don't. What's up, Christian? What's the shows and movies you've seen recently? If it's a show or a movie that I've seen, it's on the channel. I don't watch anything that I don't record for the channel these days, because I just don't have time. So if I'm not watching it if it's not something I'm covering on the channel, I haven't watched it. I'm going to be starting my Mission Impossible journey this week in honor of the new movie coming out. And by starting, more like the first 3 I've seen once upon a time, but I've only seen them maybe like once each. So it's going to be more of a refresher, but I'm still going to cover those anyway. So I'm planning on that coming out on Monday. So keep an eye out for that. But other than that, you guys are more than aware of what's going on in my life right now as far as shows and whatnot. You should call these live streams the Extended Omniverse. I don't know. We'll see. I still favor wine, because we come here and I bitch about stuff all the time, so it's nice double meaning. And it's weirder that Josh Sweet thought it would be a good idea to repeat a joke. No one thought that one was funny. Didn't even think about that. You're right. He would have been behind both of those. What's up, meats? Hey, why are you no longer reacting to Rockstars? I do when it's something I'm actually interested in, like the nuances of. With Secret Invasion, it hasn't. I mean, there's been Easter eggs here and there, but it's not like you gotta check everything in the blackboard kind of thing. So I don't know. I just haven't been interested in watching the Secret Invasion breakdowns. Because pretty much everything is kind of straightforward right now. So I don't know that I'll be learning too much anything new from it. So, Melita. Happy everybody. Happy weekend. Any other anime shows you're planning on watching this summer? Nah, pretty much just Bleach. Bleach is the only one on my calendar right now. I do need to find some time eventually to get back into some of these other animes that everybody's watching these days, because I'm not hip in the anime scene anymore. And if anything I watch is like dated as fuck at this point, or a sequel series, or like with Bleach, they're finally finishing it. But yeah, then I mean, later this fall there's the finale of Attack on Titan, which I will definitely be checking out. Hey man, sometimes you just have to forget what leaves you out. Hold up. Sometimes you just have to forget that what you eat leaves you out your butt. But enjoy food. That's true. That is true. What's up, Nightwhelmed? Doing well, doing well. Hope you are as well. Finally got to watch Across the Spider-Verse. It was so good. Better than the first, in my opinion. I'm right there with you. I enjoyed it more than the first film as well. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie now, personally. But yeah, man, I really dug this new one. You guys watching Mission Imp? Just showed up. Is it normal that the comments don't show up on the screen like usual? Well, fuck. I was on the wrong scene in OBS. That is my fault. Let's see. Ginger Geek, it's been a while. How have you been doing? Been doing good. And I know you've been catching up on all kinds of stuff. Getting your little updates in the Discord every time you're checking out something new. You're on Obi-Wan now, I think, is something you're rewatching. Talk briefly about. Yeah, doing good, doing good. I expect things to be a little slow today, just because I know Preview's going to be doing a stream here shortly. And then, obviously, the Real Rejects are cramping my style again. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Who's here, though? What's the upcoming movies, TV show you look the rest of the year or next year? Man, what are movies? What are some movies that are coming out later this year? And Blue Beetle is one I'm really looking forward to. The Marvels, Oppenheimer, Barbie, obviously. I can't think of any other movies that are coming out this year. Just off the top of my head. TV shows. With everything being pushed back and delayed and reshuffled, I'm not sure what all is actually still coming out this year now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, like I mentioned a little bit ago, I'm going to be checking out Insidious the Red Door later tonight. I might see Haunted Mansion. It looks kind of interesting and fun. Let's see. Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, definitely going to be watching that. Gran Turismo and Last Voyage of the Demeter, I'm going to go be seeing that. I'm just kind of going through the schedule for the year. The Nun 2, I'm going to hope that that's better than the last one. Got Expendables 4, but I'm not. I saw the trailer for that, and I'm not interested in it. Doesn't look very good. Of course, we got Craven, Killers of the Flower Moon, Saw 10, Five Nights at Freddy's, Dune Part 2, Marvels. I could care less about the Hunger Games thing unless it looks good. Is that actually coming out? Apparently, Ghostbusters 2's Afterlife 2 is coming out this year. I will believe it when I see it. I know they just finished filming, but that doesn't leave a lot of time for post-production. And supposedly, Aquaman is still coming out this year. So, I mean, again, we'll see what happens there. Shows, I'm not too sure. If it's on Disney Plus and it's Marvel or Star Wars, I'll be checking it out. Obviously, Ahsoka. But I'm not sure what other Marvel shows are actually coming out that haven't been pushed back. How was your day? Can you give me Can you recommend any shows / anime? The X-Files, Breaking Bad, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Bleach, Full Metal Alchemist, and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Either. You can watch either. They're two different shows, technically. What's up, Izzy? Better Call Saul. Dark is phenomenal. Hey man, lots of stuff. I don't know what you've seen though. Makes it difficult. So what time did My Adventures with Superman show up on HBO Max the other day? I have no idea. It's just when I finally watched it, or finally loaded it up the next day, it was already there. So I don't know when it came on. But it definitely wasn't up by like 4 in the morning or 5, which was when I finally went to bed. So I have no idea when it came on. I ended up watching it on Adult Swim's website because they had the first episode for free and it was already there, but it wasn't on Max for some reason. But it had that there, and you had to have like a cable, so you had to log into your cable network to get episode 2, which thankfully I still have my mom's password for theirs. So I logged in and watched them on Adult Swim's website instead of Max because they were actually fucking there. As far as Max, I don't know. I don't know if they changed their release schedule. I haven't been, since it's become Max, I don't know. It should have been 3 a.m. if you're on the East Coast, which is what I stayed up for that to come out, and it just wasn't there. Let's see. What's up, Super Edits? Hi, Omni. How you doing? By the way, who you got winning in a fight between DCEU's Superman and MCU's Thor? Oh, dude, Henry Cavill's Soup would wipe the floor with MCU's Thor. I wouldn't even propose it's a fight. I mean, honestly, if you want to be fair too, they never established in this universe that Superman's weak to magic, so we don't know, technically. But even so, he's got him in speed and strength. So I would have to give it to Soups, even with the magic advantage. I got myself a crush on Miguel. Not my fault, I like grumpy bad boys. It's hard not to, right? Barbenheimer sweep. Miguel is double hearts. Loki's out in October. Is it still coming out this year though? Like, are we sure? What's up, Juan? Love you too, man. Love all you guys. Keep being amazing. I'm doing my best. Right? The fact that he's voiced by Oscar Isaacs and his looks has a Nightwing vibe to it. He does kind of have like a Spider Nightwing kind of vibe to it. It's like a mix between Batman Beyond and Nightwing in his design. And I did not stand a chance. What's up, Ragu? Hope you're well. It's been a while. Getting some good weather, so weekends have been lots of sitting outside, boozing and eating. Well, it sounds lovely. Weather's been kind of all over the place here this year. But so far, everything's been pretty okay. Pretty okay. Yeah, Busy's in the chat. New Superman show looking pretty good. I had a lot of fun with it, man. I really did. I say it depends on when the timeline you take Clark and Thor. Man of Steel Clark was a baby. I think Thor would win. Whedon's Clark is a joke. Same with early Thor in terms of powers. Dude, I think even like rookie Clark is stronger than him. But if you take like Zack Snyder's Justice League, Clark, yeah, he'd stomp, I think, every version of the MCU's Thor that we've had so far. Clark from Snyder just would destroy Thor. Okay. Yeah, just kept on going. Yeah, I always expected it at 2 a.m. Central, and it was weird. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck was going on with that. That really got irritating. Would you ever make a list of your favorite streaming services? Or what's your favorite Netflix shows of all time? I mean, maybe? I mean, streaming services, I mean, favorite would, I mean, there's only really 2 that I think you could give that to, and that's Netflix and Disney Plus. Those are the only ones really worth their weight. far as favorite Netflix shows, Cobra Kai. Not in any particular order, but Dark, Cobra Kai, Stranger Things. Like, if they are exclusively Netflix, those are the main three for me. A lot of the stuff on there, a lot of their original stuff, I don't always take a keen liking to. The Witcher it's definitely not in my favorites list, but I still have fun watching it. Not only is Max a terrible name, but the echoes go to blue, a popular streaming color. That is true. But I can't wait to watch as Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Fast X Afterlife, Afterlife 2, FNAF, Ahsoka, the Harry Potter show. Well, the Harry Potter show is definitely not coming out this year. And I would propose that it's not going to be coming out next year either. But you haven't seen Guardians 3 or Fast X yet? Guardians is on streaming now, I think. When is Cobra Kai Season 6 coming out? Right. I have no idea. Projections were probably going to have it coming out when they usually do at the end of the year. But they've stopped writing it. They've stopped production on it because of the writer's strike. So it's on pause. So we don't know when it's going to come out now. They've paused production on the season, so I don't know. I hope it's not too far away, but the writer's strike doesn't seem to be coming to a close anytime soon. Super Cavill just needs to super speed, snap his neck, and done. Doors no more. I had a few things to say on Discord and completely forgot that you and others read them. You made me blush. Wow. Oh, I always have to clear out all the messages on there, at least because I'm one of those people that I don't like seeing new notifications, so I'll check everything. I might not always respond to everything, but I read most things that are in the Discord. And I'm one of the few people that enjoyed Obi-Wan. It wasn't perfect, it had some problems, but I had a lot of fun with it. Your Bleach reaction was dope today, man. Looking forward to the ones you got in the future. I'm excited for seeing where this goes, man. I like what they're doing with it so far. Saw Indy 5. It was fine. For me, the biggest criticism is that Last Crusade is just an absolute best way the franchise should have ended. But for some reason, it just keeps going, even though the story is over. I agree with you on that one. Last few days, it's been around 114 Fahrenheit. It was literally roasting. Holy shit. Fuck that, dude. What's the temperature here right now? It's not too high, I would imagine. Holy shit, it's higher than I thought it was. It's higher, honestly, higher than it felt when I went to go get my shot. It's 89 here right now, which still significantly cooler than what you're experiencing. DCEU Superman versus CW Superman, both going all out. I mean, and I don't know that the CW Superman is just always holding back, but like when he did that solar dip at the end of season 2 and charged up, I think that would best the DCU Superman. But barring that power up, I don't think he stands like a chance in a fight, a straight fight versus Henry Cavill. Even if he's my favorite Superman, I don't think he'd win that fight. Unless he did the sun dip like he did in season 2. Super Cav took out Steppenwolf with ease. His axe hits Cavill had zero effect. Is Loki 2 season 2 coming out this year? That's what I was asking. I don't know. MCU releases 2023. This is just movies. Here we go. I mean, supposedly Loki season 2 is still coming out in October. Just depends on if the strike fucks that up. Echo is supposedly still coming out in November, but we'll have to wait and see on that. I've been hearing some weird rumors about that one. Some of them kind of sketchy, so I doubt they'll matter, but we'll see. Just right now with the writer strike going on, we just pretty much got to keep our ears to the ground and see what happens. I live in Florida, so it was hot. You know, I've never been to the Florida. Honestly, I've just never straight up been that far south. Unless you include, like, the one time... I mean, I guess the farthest south I've been would be when I stayed at the Dallas airport. I never left the airport, so I don't really count that. He's stronger than Thor, but I'm trying to be fair to Thor. He does have more experience than Man of Steel Clark, but yeah, either way, Clark is far more powerful. Yeah, experience aside, like, we've still seen Thor get his ass smacked around once or twice by some people that aren't too thrilling. Loa from the West Coast, enjoyed your progress on FF16, and you can see the love for Sid. Dude, Sid is fucking great, man. Holy shit. So, one of the best Sids, if not the best Sid so far. At least that in my experiences. People keep blaming Kennedy, but let's be real. Disney is a majority to blame as they completely out of ideas. They have been for a while, and that's why they're buying other IPs just to milk them. I have a feeling that some of this was also Harrison as well, though, just based on some of his interviews and stuff like this. I got a very Sylvester Stallone, Rocky vibe from what he was trying to do. I would hope that Cobra Kai Season 6 comes out before 2024, but I don't know. It's not looking too likely right now. Favorite Superman is Christopher Reeves. It used to be for me, but it's Tyler now. He went from being my least favorite Superman of all time to my favorite. All thanks to a change of writers and showrunners. Would ever consider making a list of favorite characters in Stranger Things? Like a video? No, probably not. But I mean, I can tell you my favorite character is Hopper. Second favorite character is Steve, and then from there it's just like fair game. From there it would probably be Dustin, Nancy, Will, 11, Lucas, Max, a bunch of people, and then Mike. Yeah, I don't know. Robin, I forgot Robin. Robin would be up just below Nancy, I think. Jonathan would be... Also forgot. Shit. I forgot a fucking few people. Anyway. Top 3. A bunch of people over Mike. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, yeah, the top 3 I'm solid on. Everybody else, so depending on scene and mood, gets flipped around. And Scott, thank you for the super chat. What's your theory on how the Mandiverse will ultimately play out? New Republic wins war with Shadow Council and Thrawn, but remnants form the First Order. I think you might be. I think that's probably... I feel like this whole thing is going to be building up to a climax that they will conclude. I think we'll clear Thrawn from the board by the time it's all said and done. And yes, the other remnants, because the whole remnants, the Shadow Council isn't all aligned with Thrawn. So, like, it's very possible that, you know, we just cut out the more threatening faction while the other stuff just kind of happens in the background still the way it does. But I think you're probably spot on with that, Scott. Did you hear that Jennifer Garner is returning as Elektra for Deadpool 3? Yes. I guess it's a fun idea. I would rather have a fun Wolverine Deadpool movie with X-Men cameos than a whole multiverse movie. So far, it's just Fox stuff, so we'll see what happens with that. But I did see that, and they already included, you know, Ben Affleck's coming back, so makes sense because, you know, that's his Elektra as well. So I'm very curious to see what they do with it. But so far, we haven't opened up a whole bunch of stuff. But we already knew it was going to be a multiverse movie because that's how they mentioned that Wolverine gets involved. because that's how Deadpool finds Wolverine, is through the multiverse. Are they dropping all episodes of Echo on the same day? Something seems off. Yeah, that's one thing I've seen, and I believe that has been confirmed. But I saw a rumor the other day that they're thinking about not releasing it at all at this point. But I don't know. For Marvel to do something like that, that's kind of been unheard of. So like I'm very curious to see how that plays out. On the final season of Smallville, the episode I'm on is the Booster Gold episode. Hell yeah. What characters are getting taken out in season 4 of Superman and Lois? Like what characters are not returning, or what characters do I think are going to get murdered? I don't we know that the only what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Regular. The only series regulars that will be in season 4 are the Kents and Lex Luthor that exist currently. Everybody else has been demoted or aren't coming back at all. So everybody else may have an episode or 2 or maybe 3, because they were offered 3 possible appearances in the final season. Season 4. Some have turned down those 3 episodes to not appear at all, and the others we have no word on. So, but the only people we are guaranteed to see are the entire Kent family and Lex Luthor next season. Deadpool 3 suit looks good. It does. It's a little brighter, a lot more saturated, but we don't know what the color grading is going to look like. I know a lot of people are like, they brightened it up, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, we got to wait to see how the color grading looks. Just because it's a set photo, that's not how it's going to necessarily look in camera when we see it. So we'll just got to wait and see. But it looks good. I mean, it's the same suit. It's just brighter. Good Lord, good luck with that. That episode is so annoying. Stranger Things 5 will probably not be out until 2025 or 2026. More than likely, especially at this point. Especially since production on that as well has been shut down. Mike, you're... and then Mike, yeah, you're ruthless. Mike's okay. But he's... out of everybody in the show, he's the biggest potato. You know? I don't know how to put it any lighter than that. And I relate to Mike a lot. You know, other than the fact that we share a name. But, yeah. Is your system not noticing super chats? I asked because it took you several asks before you noticed Scott Edwards. No, I that was my fault. I just got distracted. I just kept reading down the list until I got to it. That was my fault. Didn't I already read this one? I did. I went back. I went the wrong way. Whoopsies. A bunch of people and then Mike. Oof. What's up, Christina? Did you hear that 14-year-old black child prodigy Preston Mutenga did the Lego scene in Across the Spider-Verse? I have. I did hear that. That was a lot of fun. They were sharing his stuff before the movie came out, and to find out that he did that in the end was a lot of fun. That was really cool. That kid's stuff is just really good in general, because he also recreated all the trailers and Legos too. What's up, Saber Smith? Season 3 or Season 4, Robin, because those are different characters. I don't necessarily agree. But I do prefer the dynamic in Season 3, I think, because just there was a lot more her and Steve. So Erica and Joyce. Yeah, they would definitely be higher up, for sure, than Mike. No joke, I completely forgot Secret Invasion was releasing episodes because I am just so tuned out on Marvel shows. The show's good. I'm just so burned out on superheroes at the moment. Fair. It's my favorite supervillain of all time, the Joker. As uninteresting as that sounds, followed probably by Reverse Flash. Yeah. I'm pretty solid on those two. And Mike is sort of low on the list. I don't hate him. I don't care for him. He's just kind of there. Like he's like the main character aside from like 11, but like he's such a default character. Like he's like that. He's like your create a character in a video game that never gets any lines, but you just, you know, people talk at them and they're there for everything that happens, but like they're not really a character. I don't know. He's more than that. That's a little mean. He is definitely way more of a character than that. But yeah, he is default pro tag. That is for sure. Building up to climax mood. Maybe only Hux's faction becomes the First Order. I mean, that's kind of what they implied. For me, the bottom of the list is Eddie. I used to like him a lot, but my god, his stands are so toxic. I've never ran into any toxic Eddie stands, but if we're talking main cast, like, sure, he would, you know, but like, if we were including him too, he's pretty high up there too. For a while, he was the only Stranger Things pop that I have. I absolutely still love Eddie. I also saw Deadpool in his own universe, so him being in the multiverse meaning Wolverine makes more sense to me. Well, remember, in Deadpool 2, you see the First Class X-Men in his universe, so there is also that. Eddie was overrated in my opinion. Like the whole time I was thinking this child ain't bathed in days and don't seem like it's a habit. I mean, he didn't have a home for days, so that would kind of make sense. He was on the run. New Superman cartoon is so good. I love the angle they're taking. Me too. It was just so adorable, man. What's going to happen to Sam Lane? They better not have fed him to Zombie Bizarro. I don't know, but he's not in season 4, so unless they win him back over, we're not going to get an on-screen conclusion to his character. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Mike just isn't new enough for me. I like him, but sometimes he's just there saying words. He's just like Eleven's emotional support pet at this point. You know, in season 1, he had a lot of agency because, you know, he was trying to find his friend, and then he had the whole thing with Elle, and then in season 1, he had a lot of weight within the plot and narrative of the first season. And then season 2, I would say, because of what was going on with Will, you know, there was a little bit more, a little less than the first season, but it was still kind of there. But season 3 onward, like, he was mostly just kind of there in the background, and, you know, it was just Eleven's mopey boyfriend. But, I mean, even in 3, he still had a couple of moments, but he's just really there as support structure at this point. Like, he's not even there as, like, the integral puzzle piece or glue of the group anymore, which is what he was kind of kicked off as. Mike reminds me of myself when I was a kid. I didn't like myself as a kid, so too bad for Mike. Oh, gosh. What did this stream turn into, man? A bash Mike fucking shtick. Yeah, I gotta love that Eddie's whole shtick is about non-conformity, being an outcast, and then forces the people in his group to conform to his ideals and stuff. No, he doesn't. I mean, they just all think alike to him. Like, he doesn't force anybody to think anything other than themselves. I mean, look at Erica. She's still very much Erica, and she's technically in his group. Him and his friends just have a similar path set. He definitely doesn't force anybody to do anything. Hell, he forces Dustin to not conform and not be himself, not to be anything other than himself. If you want to go that route. I think somebody's had the stands twist their views. I'm not seeing straight anymore. Still haven't watched Secret Invasion, as I have a Chad in Bleach. That's fair. Most of the characters in the show are just kind of there. It's not just Mike. No. Everybody else has agency. Even through, I would say Lucas was just there in season 1, but not to the extent that Mike was in season 4. Like, I think everybody's had a little bit more to do. Mike's got the least agency out of the entire group, especially if you're talking about like the plot structures and the narrative, especially in season 4 for sure. Dude, like Lucas had more to do than him. Dustin had more to do than him. Will had more to do than him. Everybody had more emotionally going on than Mike did for the most part. But then again, even out of his group, that whole group was barely relevant to most of what was going on outside of just being an Uber for 11. Again, they just work as a support group for 11. 11 is their main, they are these, what's the word I'm looking for? The support staff for 11. I still love it though. I still love it. Sort of like a video game character. Have I seen or heard of the other villains that will be in my Adventures of Superman? I would like to not know, because I want to be surprised. I've already had some spoiled for me, and that being one of them, I guess. Do you think that Will die in the end? I kind of feel like they will, as they refuse to give him a life other than crushing on the douche, so him taking over the other world makes sense in place of MF. I think Mike might die, but it does feel like the logical point would be Will, and I think that would be horrible. Horrible. Like, my God. I want Will to be happy. After the end of all this bullshit, I want Will to be happy. Fuck all the other stuff. Will needs a happy ending after all the bullshit that he's been through. I think, honestly, killing Mike is the only logical way to end all of the triangle tension, too, though. But I don't know who's gonna, like, how, with the way things have changed and evolved, I'm not sure how they'll go with that. Eddie didn't look like he bathed from Jump. Sorry, not sorry. He was fine enough, but I felt like his character was inflated too much for me. I mean, that's fair enough. I wholly disagree, but it's fair enough, man. I feel like that's an insult to me, personally, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll move on. Mike was more the leader of the group in season 1. Agreed. Unpopular opinion. I really don't like season 4 at all. Really. I like it. Dude, season 4 is my favorite season. Like, easy. Season 4 is the best season. Just for me. For me. Mike has become the emotional support animal. Yes, he has. Power of love. You know, a villain from Amanda season 3 will be in Skeleton Crew? Yeah, I heard like one of the pirates is going to be over there. Other than Superman and Lois, there are a lot of times Clark comes across as a giant himbo, and it seems that they're taking that to 11 a bit in Adventures, and it's adorable. Yeah. But he's so humbly cute, man. I love it. I should like all the kids, but Mike is definitely lost in the story now. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't hate any of the characters. I don't dislike any of the characters. It's just like, you have to acknowledge that they have not really known what to do with Mike for a while. Unfortunately. Finn Wolfhard comes in, crying. Oh. You want to hear plot details on Lost Kingdom? No, Scott. No, I don't. Only saw Lucas in the first season, a reason to have the protagonist team flash heads. Yeah, I kind of feel you on that. His reaction to Lucas wanting to be a jock, he was literally like, you conform to our group and be an outcast and stuff, or you're out. I don't explain right. I know, but I mean, that has nothing to do with that. Like if you want to be in the D&D group, dude, you don't understand how hard it is to make D&D happen. Like, no, I full-heartedly agree with that whole thing. Because Lucas, I mean, the whole point of Lucas becoming a jock was because he wasn't being true to himself to begin with. He was just trying to not get beat up anymore. He was destroying who he was. Lucas's arc that season was realizing he's being stupid. That he chose popularity over who he is and his friends. He was being fake. And he knew it, and he was being called out for it. And Lucas was asking them to stop their stuff at the same time. Like, that was never important to Lucas. You know? I do think that his friends were being dicks about it in the beginning, though. I wholeheartedly agree with that. But, you know, Eddie's got no reason to, like, cancel their shit for his game. Worked with someone who wasn't around in the 80s, whereas I was a kid those years. He asked me what it was like for LGBT during then, and I'm like, mostly stayed hidden to stay alive. That is very true. Lucas was the only one who knew what the fuck was up Side-Eye and Elle, and the consequences to come from her recent acceptance into the group. He was season 1 undercover goat. At least I appreciate his logic. He made things harder than they needed to be, but I understand where he was coming from, because Elle also was rightfully so keeping things away from them, and Mike very much was not thinking with his head throughout most of the show. So yeah, Lucas could have went about it a different way. He was kind of a dick. He was right, but that doesn't give him a right to be a dick. But then again, Mike is also a dick. Everybody was kind of a dick but Dustin in season 1. Night-helmed, that's made Lucas a top 10 for me. Not the one who lets my opinion of a character change the way I see his actions. Hell yeah, Will deserved happiness, but I think they may be creating a world for him to create. That happiness? I don't know if we're gonna have Will take over the Upside Down. That would be insane. I've been saying this forever. Will needs a man. Will need somebody that's not Mike. Will need somebody who actually deserves his attention. Vecna inhabits the empty vessel that's in the hospital. She's gone, y'all, and kills Mike as a jump scare. No. Max is going to be the key to all of this. Calling it. Love Lucas, despite not liking this the season. Put Lucas in my top 10. Dude, Lucas in season 4 jumped, woo, so high in season 4, man. Never crossed my mind you didn't bathe. Don't be offended, because you would both rock beanies. Read Sean, he needs a man that is worth having a triangle over, because sticks ain't it. Don't hate the kids either. They're just great actors. I agree. I'm right there with you. It's all fun. It's all fun. Maybe Lucas was being stupid, but the way Eddie went about it made him look like a big hypocrite. Plus, his whole speech wasn't just about D&D, though. I mean, it was about school. It was literally like the entire movement of the time. I don't know. I might be a cultural difference here, but I rock with Eddie, man. I think everything he said was truth. For the most part. I can't think of anything that he said that I'm not wholly on board with. I could have pretended to be supportive. No other reason than just understanding. We all go through ish. But yeah, I don't even do D&D, but no, someone put effort and time into it. Yeah. Plus, they were new, and he ditched out. So, like, yeah, as a DM, I think Eddie was wholly in the right in that situation for sure. Especially with the size of their group, there's just no way around it. Do you have a favorite Friends episode or episodes? I couldn't pick just one episode, man. I really couldn't. It'd be really tough. Is it him hating school, hating labels, hating all the normal stuff that people try to put on them? Yeah. All kinds of good old jazzy stuff. That happened in season 4 was just so stupid. He went to California in the last episode only to spend the entire season trying to get back to Hawkins. I mean, yeah, I mean that was kind of dumb, but I understand why they did it. But Hawkins just pulls them back in. I mean, it makes sense narratively, even if it did make things kind of drag for that group. I think inevitably they just couldn't, especially given the revelations that have come out of it. You know, I don't know. I still stick with it. I think Eleven and Nancy are stronger characters away from Mike and Jonathan, whereas I feel like Mike and Jonathan need those characters around them. I find both Mike and Jonathan the dullest now. I'm right there with you. Jonathan went from being like higher up. Jonathan, I think, was the character that took the largest hit in season 4. Like, he had a couple of really strong scenes, but yeah. I think at this point, Nancy just needs to not fuck with Jonathan and not fuck with Steve. I think Steve's, like, he said what he said, but I think they need to move on. And I think that's what they implied. But Nancy's and Jonathan are still doing this weird fuckery, or they're not being honest with each other. I don't know. Bye. And I don't know where the Mike thing's gonna go, especially considering the 11 and Will situation. And I think, like I said, the only way to clear that up is if you just nuke Mike. Who cares about the triangle? Just nuke Mike out of the equation. Nothing else happened. The storyline brought nothing to the story. Elle lost her powers last episode, got them back 2-3 episodes later, and spent the entire season going through memories of Vecna. Only for him to explain the whole thing. I mean, yeah, but that's just kind of typical. I mean, if you can break down the other seasons in very much the same way, I would say. Max better be the key to all of this. Oh, I'm almost wholly certain she will be. Hi, Omnitron. How many Funkos do you have? You might have me beat. I've got like 60 something? At least 60. I don't know exactly, though. And just like that, I decided to rewatch Stranger Things. Tears. I want to as well. Now that Superman Lois Season 3 is over, who's your favorite actor for Superman? Actually, I just mentioned that earlier. Tyler Hoechlin's my favorite Superman right now. For sure. Stranger Things is just that good. It really is. It had a lot of expectations to live up to when I started it last year, and oh man, it fucking delivered in spades. It cleared its way up to my top 10 shows of all time real easy. After 16, for me and my roommates have decided that ether is a metaphor for oil and gas, and the blight is climate change, and I side-eye the world news. Oh yeah, I'm already picking up on that as well while I'm playing it. Especially when I like straight out like to be like, so Sid's an eco-terrorist at this point, because he's trying to like force change because we're killing the planet. I think there's a little bit more to it than that, but I don't know yet. I don't have all the puzzle pieces just yet. High school, the place that was about normal stuff. My 14-year-old gifts to school, and they're talking about politics and mental health disorder, and they have so much sex. I'm glad I'm an 80s baby. Yeah. Yeah. What's my favorite nonfiction show? X-Files. All day, every day. Nancy, anyway. Hopper survived. I love him, but why? Why would the Russians take him? They took him and put him in prison for no reason, because they would have just killed him for what he did in season 3. Or, like they did, to question him. And then to test on the other shit that they were working on, because they definitely liked their little lab rats. I mean, sure, a little contrived, yes. But the show, since season 1, has not been above 80s tropes. So, yeah. Argo was cool. Argo? I haven't seen Argo. Steve's group in season 4 was the only good part. Everything with Steve's group was the best in season 4 for me. Everything that they had going on. But then again, Steve is just the best. Jonathan became Nancy's soundboard, and Steve never moved on, and that's beyond sad. I think he did, though. I think he finally... I got the sense that he finally did in that little moment with them in the final, in the forest. Jonathan is happy with his family and low ambition, and Nancy wants validation and more. That was always going to be a line. Oh, for sure. Yeah, they were heading that direction from their conversation in season 3. I kind of figured 60? Goddamn. I think so. When were you cast as the Riddler in the Batman? Were you excited? Shh, I still can't talk about it. The details are still secret. Hey there, love the channel. What's my favorite anime? Naruto is definitely my favorite anime. And manga. I accidentally pressed enter. Lol. Nancy definitely should be leaving college without a man. Both guys see a future with her where she doesn't have her own needs. I think I like what you're saying. 60? I mean, you can never have enough. Someone get me home. 9 more! Lol. I mean, I don't know what my exact number is, but you never know. I mean, I could count them, so I could know, but yeah. Must ask, what are your top 5 favorite superhero shows? Like, if we're counting, like, everything, Arrow, Batman the Animated Series. Sorry. Batman the Animated Series. Do I like Batman the Animated Series more than Arrow? I don't know that I do. That's a tough one. I'm not going to put them in any particular order. Batman the Animated Series, Arrow, damn, what, I'm fucking Daredevil. Let's think. And I always do this, man. I gotta look at my pops to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Because usually if I've got a pop for it, that means I gave a shit. What would I put up in that echelon? Probably Superman and Lois. And maybe Justice League and or JL or JLU. Either, really. I don't know. X-Men is also really good. Yeah, I don't know. I'll watch reaction videos, and in the background of that person, I only see Funko Pops. They didn't really question him. They did. They literally like were waterboarding him and choking him and fucking beating the fuck out of him. And then they held him as meat bait to work on their stuff because they need fucking manual labor, and then they wanted to feed him to Demogorgons. They did stuff with him. So when are you actually going to watch Dead Alive? Probably still never. Is anyone watching Walking Dead City? Walking Dead Dead City? I know I'm not. but I know other people are. Personally, I believe Stranger Things peaked in season 1. If they ended the show there, I would have been satisfied. For me, I think I just kept getting better. I like season 1 a lot, but I like when it started to branch out and evolve. But season 1 is still really freaking good. Top 5 superhero shows for me: Falcon, Winter Soldier, Invincible, Peacemaker, Superman and Lois, The Boys. Those would probably be, some of those would definitely be in my top 10, maybe. Even more unpopular opinion, but I think that at this point, the show ending with the whole thing being a campaign the kids are playing is the best way to end the show for me, because you can't just shrug the BS away as kids being the one to write the whole thing. I can just see the dead important characters in the background annoyed because they were good until that one stupid dice. I mean, that could be interesting, but I definitely don't see that happening, especially considering the expansions that are going to be going on around it. Yeah. I personally definitely wouldn't like that ending. Just, I'll say, I hate the whole, it was a dream thing, or you woke up and it was a campaign. Unless it was like actually the D&D movie, if you pulled out and there was people at a table, that would be fine. But I feel like that would invalidate most of the experience for me. With Marvel pushing back on movies and programs and what the fuck ever happens with Blade, when do you think we'll get Thunderbolts, and do you think they will be with who they initially said? I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen with any of these slates at this point, given the situation at hand. 5 super shows: Daredevil, Arrow, 2 Justice League shows, Batman the Animated Series, in no particular order. Good list. Am I into the Tron movies? I am, and I'm a little bothered the next Tron film is not going to continue the story. I don't know. He asked a hard question. Can we do top 20 instead? Steve trying to get low numbers because he doesn't care for D&D and he just wants to be done with that, and he keeps getting nat 20s every time. I think that'd be funny. Better than whatever angsty, dramatic BS they want to have. I mean, yeah, we just completely have different ideas of the show at this point. Ever watched Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes? I have not. I have not. Hell no. Okay, I'm done. I've never complained to anybody else season 4, so that was satisfying. Sorry I had to be on you. It's fine. I don't agree. I agree with maybe 10% of some of the things you said. But that's fine. Feel free to talk, say what you want, as long as you're respectful and cheerful. I don't care if you agree with me. Just don't be a dick. Not saying you were. I'm just saying that I don't care if we agree or not. I'm not watching The Walking Dead Dead Season either, because I like the way season 8 ended and 11. I don't know what you're talking about, Omni. Stranger Things was fantastic. It was really sad that we only got 2 seasons of it. Jesus. Can I give a fictional super hot take right now? Mine is, I think the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit is bad. Really? It's okay. It's fine. It's a fine suit. As far as a superhero super hot take, I don't know that I have one. I can't think of one that I've got just off the top of my head. I'd have to think about it, but I don't think I just naturally have any. Why is that? It was all a dream, a popular ending. Always found that to be the worst and laziest form of writing. It can be done well, but it's not easy. Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I really love Young Justice, Static Shock, and Superman and Lois. Dude, we haven't heard anything in a while, but I really hope that Static movie still happens. Another hot take is I think the Batman is sometimes better and sometimes worse than the Dark Knight in some aspects. I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's a pretty normal take. Hell, I said it was better than the Dark Knight. Personally. I have to watch Static Shock, don't I? Is it good? It's really good. Static Shock is really good. Super hot take. I doubt I'll watch any of the Marvel shows. Fair enough. Fingers crossed that half of Stranger Things Season 5 is Eleven traveling to California to torture Angela with her powers. Hell yes. Dude, I still don't... People got upset that I was happy about Angela getting that fucking skate to the face. People that disagree with that, they just don't understand. Dude, I think she got off easy. God. It's the only way the writers can imagine to backtrack on things they regret. Fair enough. Buffy did it really well, I think. What? I mean, there might have been an episode, but I just can't think of it. But I mean, like, you wouldn't end the show with that. Why is he so close to the chat today? Because the chat is being slow today. Maybe you're the ones that are being slow. I'm not really doing anything different. I'm pretty sure people do not like the Saint Elsewhere type of ending. Just invalidates everything. I just learned about Dice Jail and thought that was funny. Yeah, like you can actually you can actually get little physical dice jails, because it was like more of an ideal. Like, oh, I got too many bad rolls in this dice, time to lock it up. Like, it's a little superstitious kind of way some people play, and then, you know, obviously capitalism, people are going to capitalize on it. You can actually get physical dice jails to lock your dice up in when you need to put them in timeout for giving you too many shitty rolls. I've never done a dice jail. I have a favorite set of dice and I use it, and then I kind of like branch out. But then again, I also have like 30 sets of dice. So I don't know. It just depends on what my mood and which ones I want to use. But I don't prescribe to the change of dice personally. But I know some people that will ban their dice after they get too many shit rolls from it. It was all a dream. It's how it pissed off an entire nation with Dallas's ending in the 80s. I don't even know what that is, other than, you know, Dallas being a place. Fine, my hot take. I prefer Batman Forever over the Burton Batman films. That is a hot take. God damn, that's a nuke. If you could show one scene to a new X-Files fan, what scene would it be? Would I choose a serious scene or one of the intentionally fun scenes? Because the show grows a sense of humor as it goes on, and it's great. Like, there's some fun episodes, man. What would I do? What would I show? Damn, I don't know. Something wild, something spooky, or something hokey? I'm trying to think, man. This is hard. It's a hard question. A lot of the ones I would want to pick, there's a lot of context that you would need. Oh, I know. It's a goofy one. The Mulder Yelp scene from Jose Chung's From Outer Space. Damn, almost any clip from that episode. It's a bazonkers episode. Like, this is an episode where you kind of get like this thing that happens, and you're getting a bunch of different people's perspective on what happened. And it's so wild, the different perspectives that you get. Or hell, maybe Bad Blood with the Luke Wilson scene where Scully and Mulder are describing the same situation because she thought the guy was hot and he was kind of jealous. So like, it was kind of funny because they described him both very differently. Fun episode. Probably that. Just go with that. Do you like the Umbrella Academy? Yes! I mean, I just finished reacting to it like a few months ago. I really enjoyed it. I know they did the best they could with making it work in The Walking Dead, but every time I see Dead City poster with Negan and Maggie, it feels wrong. I just see a baseball bat. Lol. I get that, I get it, but they work well together. I thought they were the best part of the final seasons, was any of the scenes they shared together for me. Angelina needed more than a skate to the face. Yeah, I got a lot of people in the comments being like, the fuck is wrong with you? That's never okay. It's like, bullshit. Gotta make think really hard on that, or he's gonna rant, or not so close. Remember the episode where she was in a mental clinic, and despite waking up from the whole thing, the episode ends with the Buffy from the mental clinic become catatonic because she chose to leave her fantasy. I'll be honest, I don't remember that episode. But I probably haven't watched Buffy since, and it's probably been like 8 years since the last time I watched an episode of Buffy. Damn. Super hot take. I think Peggy Carter is an awful character who hired Hydra to work in S.H.I.E.L.D. as part of a Project Paperclip from the very beginning and was part of a human experimentation with Steve and Isaiah. Well, that went from a hot take to a hot conspiracy theory. Peggy's fine. Oh, and also Watchmen. That's a good one too. Watchmen was also very good. Doom Patrol. Also fucking phenomenal. It's not a hot take about Batman Forever. That's evidence in court to sentence you to death. But not that bad. Thanks, man. That's a tad dramatic, Sean. Only a little. No, I can't let him walk after that. Still haven't watched the Batman. I own it, but it's a long movie. I'm behind on most movies. I don't always have money or time to go to the cinema. Dude, like, I know I've preached to high heavens about cinema over streaming and all this stuff, man, but like, dude, it's becoming very exhausting trying to keep up with these movies and actually go to the theater, especially in this economy right now, man. Like, it's just the amount of movies coming out and stuff, like, it's just too expensive. And I still have like a monthly pass, so that's, I mean, only for my tickets I only pay $20 flat a month. But like, the gas, the inconvenience of leaving the house, the roll of the dice on whether or not you're going to have a compliant or comfortable audience with you. And then, dear God, don't be thirsty. Don't want a snack. Even though I don't pay for my tickets outright, per se, I still spend like $16, $18 every time I go because I just can't not have something to put in my mouth or drink while I'm watching the movie. Like, I just can't be completely idle. So like, I always end up burning that hole in my wallet also. I mean, tickets vary. Well, I'll get to that, but like, ticket prices I know vary and stuff like that, but like, it's I don't even know what the actual default ticket price is at my theater right now. I know last time I think I bought a ticket straight up, I think it was like $13, $14 for a standard movie, not 3D, not IMAX, not anything. I mean, I don't have an IMAX, but like, yeah. I know some places it's like $18 for a ticket. I would show the opening scene with Mulder sitting at his desk with the I Believe poster behind him. That poster? I want to believe. Nobody down here but the FBI's most unwanted. I mean, that's a good scene, but I don't think it's not gonna be one I think would get somebody interested in the show outright. Which is what I was thinking of. The movie's not bad enough to deserve a death sentence. Dallas was a show in the 80s. Who Shot JR was a big thing back in the day. It was super rich people in around Dallas who owned oil and land. And viewership of Game of Thrones, but about snobs. God, never heard of it, man. Somehow that has completely went under my radar. It was all a dream ending became really popular because it was thought to be a good twist, and they thought that that was better than, well, apparently anything else. Maybe it's just one of those things that over time just got really, it happened a little too many times, and people got tired of it. Umbrella Academy was great. I hope they can give Allison a redemption arc. We'll see. Story where they explore each perspective. You mean a Rashomon type? I've heard that, but it's not exactly, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because I heard that come up in the Witcher thing, and it's not that. I mean, because, like, it is, like people's worldview different. Like, things happen completely separate from what actually happened, kind of thing. Like, it's not like you're seeing a side of the story you didn't see from the other character's angle. Like, they saw the same thing, but recounted it in a vastly different way. So everybody's got very conflicting stories about the same event. Like, conversations are completely different. People look completely different. People act completely different from scene to scene. I don't know if that's the same. Because, I mean, I don't know the whole Rashomon thing. I know the word, but I don't know. And the actual mythology of it, but I don't know how it applies in, like, the cinema aspect. Damn. I don't know if this was in reference to, unfortunately, Jet. Not just Angela, but those kids too, not as bad as Anne's, but they're just henchmen. They were involved. Buffy, rewatch, please. Hey, maybe one day. Anyone who thinks Angela didn't deserve what she got probably have never been bullied in their life, because I was, and that was satisfying as hell. Hell yes. I missed 3 movies so far, just waiting for them out at home at this point. Yeah, I'm waiting on, I'm going to be waiting on Mission Impossible. And I'm going to be waiting on Transformers, because I'm going to react to that, because I reacted to Bumblebee, so I'm going to react to Transformers when it comes out. Since same continuity, so might as well keep up with it. I think that'll be fun. Yeah, I saw this in chat whenever I was talking about the prices, so that was my response to you. I wasn't to your actual question just yet. I'm still job hunting, trying to get a full-time somewhere so I can get benefits and some stability. So I haven't been to a theater since before the panini. It's the first time I've heard that as a term for it. I kind of like it. I might steal that. But good luck with that. I really do hope you find something that'll get you through. A sneak food in the theater. It's hard to do it when you just have jeans. I mean, they sure as hell ain't gonna let me in with a backpack. I mean, sometimes I might be able to pull off like a Red Bull or some kind of can by stuffing it in my pants and wearing like my hoodie. So it's a little obstructed, or putting it in one of my jackets that have like an inside pocket. But I mean, I can't really take much in. And I kind of gotta have popcorn. That's kind of one of my things. I've been trained to need popcorn or something in great quantities that'll get me at least through the previews. There's been cases where I have a whole large popcorn and I'm right here in the bucket by the time just the previews have finished. Another nuke of a hot take. Spider-Man 3 is a comedic masterpiece. I mean, I don't know if that's much of a hot take, because, I mean, it is memed for its comedic elements, or the ridiculous elements of it. I think it would be more of a hot take to say it's the best Spider-Man movie ever. Hey, I saw it 3 times in theaters when it came out. I liked it. It was not perfect, but I liked it. I still loathe what they did with Venom, but I liked Topher Grace because of That 70s Show, so... yeah, I just kind of tolerated it. It's the joy of having a purse. Easier to sneak food into a theater. I'll buy a slushie, though. See? You still got your money. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good today. Yeah, I'll go to the store just before the movie where I can get food and drinks for cheap and put everything in my big purse. Women, right? Just fucking have everything easy. I could just as easily get a purse. Or a satchel. A man purse. And go in and do the same. It's fun. You always need like an accomplice to help you. Dude, I stuffed like 3 Red Bulls in my jacket. One way around that I found, guys, hear me out. Or if you just have a hoodie, maybe you don't have a purse, because I know some people just don't have, bags that they carry around with them all the time. What you can do, you got at least have a hoodie. Put a can, something in each pocket, maybe a bag or something or whatever, and roll up. Because, sometimes the temperature outside is the same as it's going to be inside. Sometimes you're hot outside, but the theater's going to be cold, so you don't have your jacket on yet. So you just, put all the stuff into the jacket, roll it up, carry your jacket in, and you're done. Bing, bang, boom. I like Spider-Man 3, though it's funny. They used to check people's bags before, but I don't know that they do that anymore. They just can't be bothered. I've never been to a theater where they've checked bags, thankfully. So I don't know about that. Maybe it's because, I live in, not the middle of nowhere. That's, 30 minutes from here. I still live in basically civilization. But, even here, I guess, I don't think I've been to a theater here. I don't know that I've been to a theater anywhere that's actually checked bags, for that matter. In my days. I don't know. I've never run into that. Is that a big thing? Do a lot of places do that? Dallas killed off a character called Bobby. Ratings dropped. At the end of an episode, he reappears. His wife had been asleep and dreamt he died, so the 30 previous episodes never happened. Oh, God. I just started watching Indiana Jones movies. I do 1 per week. First is good, drags a bit at points, and the final action scene happens within 30 minutes still left. But Andy and the action hold up well. I really like the first 2 a lot. I know the movie failed, but if you walked up to a Spider-Man fan, 97% of them say they liked it. It might be a high number. That might be a little high. They had Dressed as Death on the sister show, and their episodes did happen. What? That's just confusing. I just remember a bunch of big-haired women in ball gowns fighting in a fountain. What the fuck is this show? I actually have a great question. Have you ever played any Dead Space game? I played the absolute shit out of Dead Space. The first one. I have 2 and 3, but I've never played them. I played 2 for 15 minutes when it first came out, but I decided not to continue it because I was still working on another game. And then I finished that game and never went back to it. So I've never finished Dead Space 2. But I've 100%ed Dead Space, the first one. I did it. I played the game non-stop until I did everything. And got all the, unlockables and achievements and stuff like that. In 3 days. While I was in college. If you live, maybe you'll live, avocado. I didn't know that, Christian. I was talking about the craziness of that show. Gotta ask, how is it like to film content with the Real Rejects? Been a big fan of those guys. Oh, it's a lot of fun, man. It's always fun recording something with Greg and them, and just kind of hanging out, talk about the behind the scenes of it all sometimes, and doing the long distance stuff over Zoom or whatever it is we're using at the time. It can be a lot of bit of troubleshooting, so it's a mild stress involved with it, but it's always fun, and still trying to line something up for whatever the next thing is going to be, but it's hard to find something we both haven't seen. That's what's become a little difficult. Yeah, there was a spinoff called Knots Landing, and they addressed his death and had a whole season with him dead, and then it was never retracted. What the hell? Used to put candy bars in my socks and pop. What? How? Did you just walk on it? Or like in the side? How'd you put pop in your sock? One time I went to the cinema with the peeps in front, and I bought sandwiches and tea, and they were having a picnic. I love it. Oh, speaking of, going back to the hoodie idea, like I was talking about, carrying the hoodie and having it contain some miscreant items. I took a Japanese takeout that way into a theater once and just popped it open, the styrofoam container and everything, with a fork, and was just eating it one time. I did do that. Still always try to show up late so I don't watch previews. Previews are half the fun. Why do you think there's so very little iconic live-action Batman fights? Only one I can think of is The Warehouse, and the Batmans are good, just too short, and aside from the choreography and most, isn't the best. Yeah, the Batman Warehouse fight is still the most iconic, though I do think the Flash did some really good Batman combat. Given all of it was CGI, most of the Warehouse was as well, but still, you know what I mean. You don't own a backpack or a shoulder bag. You cannot bring a backpack in, let alone a shoulder bag. Like, purses is the only thing they'll let you bring in, so like you have to have something like that. I think that's like the only thing that they won't be like, hey, they'll be like, no, you can't bring that back in there. Well, the backpack specifically is security reasons, especially in the States. You know, bringing a backpack into a public place like that, it gets you side-eyed a lot of the time. We went in a drive-in theater here, and they allow you to bring whatever you want in with you. I have never been to a drive-in. That's one thing I've never done. I don't know where any are, is the thing. Never go to a theater alone, so someone will hold my backup food. Have food and money. Buy a slushie. Used to sneak soda in my sleeves. It worked better than you think. I've done that once. I've kind of like under my hoodie sleeve, like hooked my hand to make sure it didn't like fall out. But I've done Red Bull on my wrist. My God, that hurt after a little while because it was really cold. So my wrist was starting to ache because of that, man. God damn it. I closed the window by accident and lost the comment I was writing. That is the worst. Only thing I don't like about Spider-Man 3 is during 3 of the fights, there's a part where him and the guys fighting are falling down while hitting each other, and it's weightless and lacks impact. I think my biggest hang up with the whole movie is still just Venom was just forced into it. And behind the scenes, we learned he was forced into it. Sam Raimi never wanted to have him in the movie, but the studio demanded it. So that's why he was just kind of smashed in there. That's the only bit of it. It was fine. I didn't hate it. It just wasn't my ideal. I was just like, oh, at the time though, you're like, oh, Venom is in the movie, because like you just take what you can get when you were a comic book fan back in the day for the most part. Didn't, expectations were not very high to begin with for comic book adaptations. My bag has never been checked in California, not in San Francisco, Sacramento, or Berkeley, or in Florida. Yeah, I've never had a bag checked, but I've had people like I said with like the backpack thing. They wouldn't let you bring it in, period. Hot take, but the best Flash was in The Amazing Spider-Man. Are we talking about Flash Thompson? I assume. It's the only one I could see becoming Agent Venom, and is the closest to the one from the comics. I feel like I could see this one be Peter's best man. I'll be honest, I don't remember Flash in The Amazing Spider-Man. I remember Joe Manganiello from the Tobey Maguire movie, his Flash, but I don't remember the Amazing Spider-Man one. Physically bullies Peter and then dumps him down and matures up by being inspired by Spider-Man. Case closed. Night helm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember that. I don't remember the. Who is he? Oh, now I do. Okay. Yeah, okay. I feel you on that. I can meet you on that one. I completely forgot about that guy. I thought he was meant movie-wise. Personally, I think the best Flash is in the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon. Yeah, we weren't talking about cartoons. I don't know. I've never seen that Spider-Man, so I can't add to that one. But yeah, we were talking about the movies. The pop in the pants side and the candy bars in the side of the socks, not walking on it. Okay. Gotcha. Still, man, how do you just had a big old pop can sized bulge on your sock? Cover that up with some baggy pants, you'll be fine. That's gotta feel so awkward. Sometimes previews are the best part of the movie. That is very true. For me, it's not much the theatrical experience. It used to be. I kind of, like, because of how ridiculous it's got and reacting to most trailers, most of the time I've already seen most of the trailers they play. And if they play something new, it's been like, oh, well, now I can't react to that. So it's a little annoying. I used to love it, and I used to get upset if I missed the previews. These days, I don't care too much. But yeah, I still would prefer to see all the previews. I mean, I think the scene after Uncle Ben dies is very telling about who he is, and it's the only movie that implies that something else is going on in his life that turned him like that. I need to rewatch that. I don't remember his scenes really at all, except for Andrew Garfield dunking on him. Our cinema is actually fine with people bringing in food. Alcohol is a big no-no, though. I've never been to a cinema that sells alcohol, though. Is that a thing? Yes. I've not been to one. Actually, no. I've been to one for like the Kevin Smith thing. It's not a traditional cinema though, but they do have cinemas that are like part bar, part food, dine-in. Like there's some cinemas that also serve food, but there are some that do dish out alcohol. I don't have any of those around here because we're a very uptight state. When WonderCon was done in San Francisco, they used to have a panel called Trailer Park, where it was like 1.5 hours of nothing but trailers. Good lord. So which reactor content creator would you say you'd want to collab with in the future? That I haven't already. I mean, it's not like I've collabed with a lot. I mean, I've aside from like our little big old get-togethers, which I'm not really going to count because it's not like a real collaboration all that much. It's more of like a big old hoopla with a bunch of people, like with the trailer stuff or like the trivia stuff that us and a shit ton of other reactor channels did. And then there's also the little what do you call it, summit that we all kind of had a few months ago. I wouldn't necessarily call that a collaboration. So like what I've collabed with, I don't even know if you would consider like just appearing like on a podcast the same thing. If that is the case, I've been on Akasan's channel, been on Chainsaws, I've done stuff with Busy, JVS, I've done stuff with them, and obviously Greg and John, the Rejects, done a couple videos with them. But I would love to do. I would love, and like I've been on Jay from Previewed's streams on Twitch quite a few times. But like I would love to go hang out with Blind Wave and shoot something with them. That would be great. They're only like an hour and a half away from me, 2 hours on a bad day, so it wouldn't even be a difficult drive to go to the Wave Cave. That would be something I would really love to do, because those guys seem just I don't know. Those guys are awesome. Love all the stuff they do, and their setup is just fucking great. The Normies would be another group I would love to hang out with. Obviously, doing something like in person with Jay and Adam would be also super cool. I need to get to LA so I can actually do the same with Greg, which is something we've been trying to plan, but we'll see what happens with that. Money's just so tight, man, and a trip literally to the other coast is not something that I can easily fork out on the fly most of the time. Yeah. But I'd have to say, if we're going with people that I just straight up have not, I would say the normies and Blind Wave. Cause his abuse is pretty big damn part of the character in the comics. I think Spider-Man 1 is my favorite ever. I love the cheese, the cringe, the best pacing, and the most charm and heart. The most action. Goblin is goated, and I'm just a sucker for good origin stories. I do really like the first Spider-Man, man. I really, really do. There's a soap opera where an actress got sick and wasn't able to appear, so they got the actress's twin sister to take over. That's interesting. Not surprised. That's kind of cool, though. The OG actress eventually came back to play the OG character, and they revealed the actress's twin was playing the OG character's evil twin, who took the OG character's place. What the fuck? That's some good old soap opera wildness right there, man. The only soap I ever watched was Days of Our Lives. There was a period of time because like I got trained to enjoy it. Because my mom would just put it on all the time, and eventually, like when I was younger, I even got mildly invested for a time. Only time I went to a drive-in was when I was younger-ish and saw Aliens in the Attic, G.I. Joe: Rise of Cobra. That's cool. Quick question: have you ever played any Dead Space games before? I asked that already, and I answered that. Yes, just not 2 or 3. Played 1. What's up, Mercenary? You've never seen a Spider-Man cartoon. That was to somebody else. Jinko jeans, I guess, allows you to sneak anything in them. That'll get it done. That's for sure. I don't know how I could have felt about Sandman and New Goblin being the main villains. The redemption Harry got in the theatrical cut was great, but having him be full-on villain, I don't know. I mean, there probably would have been a little more depth to it. I think Sandman's arc was supposed to encapsulate most of that. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what the original plan was. I'm a big guy, so they don't look twice. Yes, baggy pants and jacket. What's your worst cinema experience? That's tough, man. When I saw specifically, well, shoot. Can we talk about? I mean, I've got a few like that. See, some of them were just straight up like the whole experience got shut down, and then there's just like it was just a bad experience. And then some where it was not the intended thing, like the 300 story that I've talked about with Matt Damon and all of that. Like, that's technically not an ideal experience, but it's a funny story. I'd have to say, like, despite that, you know, like, the power went out the first time I saw Captain America. Like, the first Avenger. The power went out right at the Red Skull reveal. So, like, right as that was about to happen, the power went out because of a storm. So it shut off. The power came back, and everything came back except the sound because the speakers shorted out from the surge from the power outage. So the image was playing, but there was no audio. So the reveal happened with no audio, no dialogue or whatever. So that was a shitty thing. So we had to leave. They canceled the movie. They stopped it all, and you know, we got a refund, and you know, whatever. That happened. But whatever. I went back and saw the movie again. But let's say, like, what was that movie with the old people and the kids that were going to see their grandparents? The M. Night Shyamalan movie. Fuck, what was that movie called? I went back and saw it again because there was a group of kids the first time that absolutely would not shut the fuck up. I couldn't hear a damn thing that was going on. Like, because they wouldn't stop talking or kicking their seats and stuff. And it was awful. Went back and saw the movie again. Thankfully, the second time around, It was definitely a better experience. And then there was the Jared Harris movie. Yeah, old. No. The Visit. That's it, Christian. Christian's got it. The Visit. Yeah. Really good movie. First time I watched it, though, I was pissed. I don't know if that though is worse than when I went to saw that Jared Harris paranormal investigation movie. Again, I never remember the name of the movie. I always have to look it up, and somebody usually beats me to the punch before I find it. But it was like he was a college professor, and him and his like students investigated like ghost sightings and shit like that. What was it called? The Quiet Ones. Let me tell you, that movie in that theater, in that particular setup, it was not a quiet movie. It was painfully loud. And with that movie in particular, which was the most jump scare heavy movie I've ever seen in my life, like unnecessary jump scares from scenes that aren't even meant to be scary. Like this, I should have just left, but I was so stubborn because I spent the money on it. And maybe I could have went and complained and they could have turned down the volume. Probably should have done that. But I was in a stubborn ass mood that day. And I was just like, I literally watched the last, once the movie really started getting in and like the scare started happening more and more, like I had to start holding my ears. Like I plugged my ears through the majority of the movie because it was like literally painfully loud. Like even in normal dialogue scenes, you could tell it was louder than it should have been. So when the scary shit happened, it was like eardrum piercing. So I don't know what's worse, the annoying kids that made it so I couldn't enjoy the movie, or the literal movie that caused me physical pain. I'd put both of those above the Captain America thing. And then there's also the Green Lantern story where the movie got stuck every time. They restarted the movie 3 times because it kept getting stuck at the scene where Ryan Reynolds is crashing his plane, and it goes through the, you're not afraid, are you, Dad? Let's just say it's my job not to be. Eject. Yeah, that whole sequence. That 30-second loop, or that 30-second sequence, every time the movie would get to that point, it would start looping right there. It would not go past that point. So it got to the point where it was kind of funny for a little bit. The entire audience was like chanting along with the movie because it kept going. Everybody's going, eject. You're not afraid, are you, Dad? And like the entire theater was just having a little gas with it until it went on for 15 minutes and never continued. They restarted the movie. They couldn't skip ahead. They couldn't fast forward. So we had to watch the beginning of the movie up until that point again, and it got stuck again. The only thing that they could do to get to the fix was to actually skip ahead a whole scene, and we just never saw the actual conclusion to that scene. We saw basically a flash forward to the consequences after the fact. So there's that. Also, because that's a fun story, I probably wouldn't put that ahead of it. So I'd probably go with the Quiet Ones thing with the ear-bursting speakers, or the dumbass kids in the Quiet Ones. Anyway, let's go. What's up? Hello there. What's up, Sketch? What are your thoughts on Dead Space movie by James Wan? That could be pretty fucking cool. I would love a Dead Space movie. And James Wan is great with horror, so I think that would be fun. A great little combo. Anyway, comic book DC Flash and Flash Thompson look the same. Kinda. I have 2 cinemas that are around me that sell alcohol. Specific area that's cut off from the general public to keep out the underage kids. That's cool. What's some movies or shows you dislike or like that everyone seems to feel the opposite about? I know Mando Season 3 is one, but aside from that, for me it's Walking Dead City. Everyone loves it, but I think it's mid. I don't know. I can't speak for that one because I haven't watched it, but I don't know. Show that I dislike that everybody seems to enjoy, or vice versa. Something I like that everybody doesn't. I mean, right now, I'm enjoying The Witcher. It's fine. I think this last season's better than the first. I think this season's better than the second season so far. I haven't seen the last 3 episodes, but I'm enjoying The Witcher just fine. But I'm also not married to the lore. I'm not a fan of the games. Not that I'm not a fan. I've never played them, and I've only read the first book. So maybe we can include that. I mean, aside from that, I'm not like vehemently off kilter with most people's opinions on certain shows, or there's probably just shows that I've just straight up not seen. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Oh, well, you said movies too. I was thinking specifically shows. The first Watchmen, dude, I found it unbearably boring. My friends loved it. I saw it in theaters. When I was in high school. Actually, it may have been in college. I can't remember which. But they saw it. My friends loved it. I saw it, and I didn't enjoy it at all. I've never watched it again since, though. I've also never seen the movie since then. I don't love John Wick Chapter 4 as much as most people, but I still don't hate it. I think it's worse than... like I put in my review, I put it below 2, but above 3. So, I mean, that's kind of a mildly warm take based on the general reception. I don't know. Those are the ones that come to mind. I'd have to think about that one a little bit more. I'm sure I could probably think of a couple more, but... it's because it never aired in my country. At least I don't think so. People grew up on DC with Christopher Reeve's Superman and Teen Titans. What was that about? What was that to? I don't remember. I don't remember what this was response to. Maybe it's something Sean said. Sorry if I asked before, but when are you starting up Severance? Well, I'm starting. I'm finishing Dark, and then I'm going to start Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know yet. I'm not sure yet, but it'll more than likely be around the same time as that. So maybe just a couple more weeks, a month or two. I've got what, 5 more episodes of Dark at once a week. So like maybe a month, give or take. Unless I have like a gap in the schedule in the meantime. But I'll make sure to let everybody know when it's coming. I don't know if you saw this already, but they changed Jason Syndulla's look for the Ahsoka series. Traded in the green hair for brown TikTok boy haircut. I saw that apparently thanks to the Legos that they put out. People are talking about how they changed up Jason Syndulla's design for the live action one, which I'm curious to see how they explain that, if they do, because it's kind of it's kind of part of his genes, so I don't know what happened there. We'll find out, I guess. Gotta go, Omni. Have a great week. Stay safe. Take care. And keep being awesome. I will do my best. But you have a great rest of your weekend. A good week until next time. And take care, man. Thanks for stopping in. Captain Collab over here. Final question for me. Are you hanging in there? Mental health-wise. I know content creation can take a toll mentally. So how do you keep yourself aloft? Sometimes I just don't. When there's a lot of shows going on, like literally it can feel really overwhelming, which is one of the reasons why I've had a little bit of I in the last month or so, I just haven't been posting as much, and I didn't want to like over exert myself by picking up shows when new shows were going to be coming out this month as well. So I don't know. I'm just trying to strike a balance and do a little bit, take a little bit more time about it. Kind of take the previewed angle, where if it's not a big show, they just kind of disappear. Which I'm not totally going to do that, but if there's nothing I'm vehemently interested in, I'm going to try to take some breaks here and there. But I don't know, man. some days are definitely worse than others. Like, one of the reasons why Final Fantasy, like, is taking me so long to get through right now, is just cause, you know, I kind of gotta hype myself up to record. Like, if I was just sitting here playing the game without recording it, I would probably already be done with the game. But, like, knowing that I have to hit the record button and stuff like that, sometimes I have to, like, hype myself up to it, and sometimes I exhaust myself mentally, like, anticipating it, that I eventually put it off to the point where it's too late in the evening, and now I'm tired, and now I can't do it. So, like, I go through these cycles and loops all the time, and I think the biggest thing for me is, like, I have a shitty sleep schedule. So I think that's the hardest thing, is keeping up with all the releases. Especially when Max doesn't release their shows at the same time they say they will, and the show doesn't come out on their stupid service on the day it's supposed to come out until, like, God knows how many hours after the date it's supposed to come out. And you're like, where's my show? And you already stayed up till 3 in the morning to watch it, which is when it's supposed to come out. It's when they said it would come out, and then it's not out, and you don't even know when it came out because you just finally decided to say fuck it and went to bed. So I think, thankfully, Adult Swim saved me on that, but that's not the only time that's happened. Anyway. I watch memes to keep my mental health intact. I just scream. Have you ever thought about doing interviews of others? Either writers, producers of indie films, or games? I would love to. It's definitely crossed my mind. Hell, I've even thought about just, like, interviewing certain, like, reactors and stuff like that. But I've never actually, like, asked anybody. But I've definitely would entertain, like, interviewing people that are working on productions and stuff. But, like, we're so tiny. I don't know if I can get any. I mean, there's a couple of them. I mean, there's one I might be able to do if I bring it up. And other than that, I mean, like, sometimes with the Netflix stuff, they ask, like, if you want to get anybody's contact info or anything like that to arrange anything, but I've never pried. I'm just like, early access, I'm happy with it. I'm not going to ask for too much more. One in particular, I can't remember what it was that I got early access to. They were like, let us know if we try to make anything else happy or work for you. And I was like, it's so close to release. How is this even going to work? And I was like, I'm not even going to bother asking. So I don't know. I might poke around and prod about that a little bit more the next time that happens. But yeah, I don't know. I might be able to get one of the writers for that 90s show. Or at least I at least think I might be able to ask and make something happen about that. That would be fun. I also have thrown out into the ether to Kevin Smith a couple of times, but it's gone on deaf ears. He's seen other posts of mine, but never that one. I'm like, damn it. I want him to see this one. That's my dream one, man. If I could get Kevin Smith, that's the one I would love to. That's the person I would love to have on here. Random, but I've never made a cosplay before. I certainly don't have the body type, but God, I wish I could cosplay Spider-Verse Doc Ock. Hey, go for it. As far as making cosplays, I've never braved the attempt. But I have bought many, shit from, like, eBay and stuff like that. And, like, there's custom fitters and stuff like that where you kind of get stuff crafted around. But yeah, that's one way to go. But it depends on the cosplay. If it's too hard to find, you may have to put it together yourself. Like the Vax one I want to do, I would probably have to figure out how to do that one myself. But yeah, go for it. I've made one cosplay, I guess. And I wouldn't say I made it as far as found a random assortment of clothes that just happened to look close enough. Like for that Quicksilver that I have, I just got a leather jacket, a normal leather jacket, and used cloth paint and sprayed it silver. Because I couldn't find an actual silver one. Did you instantly know that it was Slade Wilson when you first watched Adventures of Spider-Man, or when the credits started rolling? It was when the credits started rolling, because like in my video, like that's what I mentioned. I said I saw it in the credits, and that's when I was like, that's when I made the connection. I didn't know in the moment that it was Slade. I was like, who the fuck's this anime boy? And then, one thing I didn't notice, and I still didn't notice it in the video, even after I went back, is he's wearing Peacemaker's dove. Like, on his centerpiece, the emblem on his chest is Peacemaker's dove. The hell's up with that? Yeah, I did notice in the closing credits, and I didn't think anything of it. I thought it might have been just like obligatory credit you just have to make if something was referenced. I did see that in big letters, they were like, credit to Deathstroke, blah, 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 writer, creator, this thing. And I was like, huh, why are they crediting Deathstroke? And it wasn't until I went back and looked later that it was a big old thing. That's why. Power went off when I was watching Minority Report and Spider-Man Homecoming. Had to go back and see Homecoming. Hate that shit, man. That sucks. Old, boring movie. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. It was okay. I think that was M. Night Shyamalan's best cameo, though. The Visit was actually really good. Have I been enjoying Secret Invasion? I've really been enjoying Secret Invasion. A lot, actually. Went to the theaters yesterday and had the same experience with two girls who would not stop talking and using their phones the entire time. Dude, that shit just drives me up the wall, man. First time I saw the Batman was on the smallest screen my theater had, oversold tickets. So there were people just standing in the back. The lights didn't go off and the speakers were busted. That's awful. You didn't even turn off the lights? Good lord. So is Spider-Maguire and Peter B. Parker all the only Spider-Man with Riz? Because I guess they can keep their girls. I guess so. Spider-Car saved MJ 3 times, Andrew. Don't be mean to Andrew. His movies suck, but he's okay. Leave my boy alone. He was doing his best. It wasn't his fault. I mean, not to victim blame, but she could have tried to swing one of the beams instead of just hanging there, putting it on fucking Gwen. I mean, technically, she probably shouldn't have been there at all. Yo, what's up, KN? Long time. Take care. Bye. Well, thanks for stopping in. I'm glad to see you're doing well, though. Hope you're doing well. You're here, at least. My theater for Force Awakens, super loud audio, and I remember Omni, that movie, has lasers and explosions. I still don't know if it was as loud as that fucking horror movie, though. I don't know. I've never heard anything that loud. It was so loud, I watched the movie outside the theater in the hallway. What the fuck? I mean, if nobody else got up, I don't know. We'll see. But that's impressive if that's the case. Andrew Stay's my favorite Spider-Man. The comic with Gwen's death is one of the few, among few others in that area, Spideys that I've read. And I don't care what anyone says, his Peter/Spidey is pretty damn good adaptation. I don't like Tobey's. I find him bland and boring. I mean, fair. I think Andrew's the best actor. He's my favorite Spider-Man. He's an okay Peter. I think Tom Holland's my favorite combo. I think he's my favorite Spider-Man. I think he's my favorite Peter. It's just he doesn't have the most Spider-Man-like movies, if that makes sense. Watched The Martian in an old theater while I was Fleet Week, and the Blue Angels buzzed the building repeatedly. Oh God. I couldn't hear several scenes. Still better than the kids playing on their phones. I mean, that's still pretty loud, though. That movie's so good. That would suck. See, at least my movie was shitty, but then the experience was shitty. So, I don't know what's worse. Is it worse to have a bad experience watching a crappy movie, or a bad experience watching a good movie? Because then you're getting double whammied one way. But then are you really having a spoiled thing if the movie's just not good to begin with, but if it's good and it's being spoiled? I don't know. There's an argument there's a debate that can be made there. Despite the amazing fight scenes, I find John Wick to be the weakest one of all four. I think you mean, what, 4? John Wick 3. Yeah, I agree. I think the third one's the weakest. Relatable content, the Max rant. I think Omni's got big feelings about Max. Oh, yup. Since you might have inside info, how's previewed schedule going to change since Jay has no sleep schedule anymore? That I don't know. I know they've already had some delays with some of their stuff. I honestly, like, since he's been dealing with the baby and stuff, I've not heard a peep from Jay. And I don't expect to. You know, I congratulated him on the whole thing the day that the kid was born. But, you know, I'm not pressing and not pushing. I've never been the guy to reach out. Like, it's always been Jay, like, who's been like, hey, bud, you want to come hang out on the stream? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I don't like pressing into other people's stuff, but, like, I don't, as far as like what they got going on, I don't have any inside info for you guys. The actor who plays Cassie in Endgame looks older than the one in Ant-Man 3. Somewhat. I don't know. I don't remember. I'd have to see them side by side. Are you excited for the Marvels? Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. At the same time, it's a lot of money because I'm a perfectionist, so I would need it to be as close to as possible. So it looks rubbery with leather with bits of plastic. And that would be expensive, and I would rather keep it for my dioramas and miniatures. Hey, that's fair enough. I mean, cosplay from like the good ones, especially for the elaborate ones, like something like that has like the arms and stuff, that shit gets real expensive. Like the one I want to do, like there's wings involved, so fuck that. I'm currently trying to plan the Titan's Tower with everything inside as faithful as possible. Good lord, that is quite the process. I'd love to see that at the end, though, if you ever get that completed. Andrew is amazing. I just love Andrew. Great actor and a good man. A lot of respect for him. Oh, dude. Tick, tick, boom. Oh, they got me. Oddly enough, I think the first thing I saw Andrew Garfield in, I think it was actually, it was in a documentary for Caravaggio where he was just an extra. I watched it in my art history class, and he was an extra playing one of the models that Caravaggio was painting for the Cherub painting, I believe. I can't remember the exact name of the painting. I know the painting if I were to see it. And he was in the fucking the recreation of it. That's what you call it. Which one was it? Here it is. What's the name of this one? Well, this says self-portrait, so I don't think it's that one. So I don't think he played Caravaggio. Which one was it? You know what? Let's just do this. Andrew Garfield, Caravaggio. Yeah, it was that. As the boy with the fruit. Boy with basket of fruit. Yep, that was it. I had the picture right. It's just I think they credited the picture wrong on that article I was looking at. Yeah, I think that was one. Then of course he was in an episode of Doctor Who too. Would you agree that fans get to decide what's canon and what's not? Like Disney can't force me to accept this. Oh my god. Sequel trilogy as canon. To me, everything after the Return of Jedi is not canon. I mean, that's all fair to you to not. I mean, it's a little bit of a muddy statement because, I mean, it is the same continuity. It is the same property, it's the same license. It's just not the same creator behind it all. There's an argument to be made there, but you'd also have to acknowledge that none of the EU is also canon as well. So, I don't know. That's fine. Like, it's perfectly fine, but, you know, if you accept Mando and not the other stuff, though, then that doesn't make sense. So if you accept Mando as canon but don't accept the sequel trilogies, that's where it gets messy. You think Carol will appear in Secret Invasion? Probably not. Have I watched the trailer for the upcoming AI-themed movie, The Creator? I have. I did watch that trailer while I was taking a dump. TMI, I apologize. I definitely didn't react to it. I was like, what's this trailer everybody's looking at and watching? Because I don't recognize it, and I definitely... It looks wild. It looks pretty interesting. I'm excited for Rebel Moon. Not really. I mean, I'll watch it, but I'm not, like, excited from what I've been hearing about it or seeing for it, for that matter. Little kids don't belong in theaters. Agreed. Oh, since according to Andrew, his Peter is bi, maybe he doesn't get to keep the girls, but who knows about the guys? Well, it seems like, I mean, based on what we saw in No Way Home, I don't think he's got anyone. So, that's something. This is me begging for a third movie, by the way. I really do hope I hope, like, for the other stuff they end up doing, if they do have a Spider-Man, I hope it's his. Bad with bad. At least I find enjoyment out of a bad situation if the films are good, i.e. my experience with Creed 3. I'm bi, and I want to buy Spidey on screen, please. One of these days. Possibly. Spider-Man, the animated series. I don't even know if he found his MJ. I think that's how the show ended. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, canonically, he never found MJ. Now, Spider-Man Unlimited was pitched as a pseudo sequel to it, but it's also not in the same continuity if you actually pay attention to it. So, yeah. I mean, it's never resolved. So that Spider-Man, as far as we know, never found his MJ. He was lost to the ether. If you were to make a Tom's trilogy without Tony as a mentor, but still have the Avengers exist, how would you rewrite it, and what plot points would you want? Dude, that is too big of a question. I would have a Green Goblin. I would just basically do like a typical Spider-Man story. You know, the Ben stuff. Do Green Goblin. Not like a recreation of the first movie with Tobey, but like something not too far different. But I would also want to have like Shocker in there and be prominent. I would want characters like Scorpion to be in there. I would have them literally use his rogues gallery to its fullest and build up to it. Maybe even maybe you'd even do Goblin last. So, I don't know. Just focus on Spider-Man. No, Omni, they left the theater. I love Andrew's Spider-Man, though, despite letting Rhino kill people, he's still great. Who's your favorite Batfleck? Under the Silver Lake is a very underrated Andrew Garfield movie. Not heard of that one. I'll have to look into it. If is the key word. I'm not going to do it, and I don't know if it'll be done by the end of this decade. I believe in you. I freaking love Tick Tick Boom movie and the soundtrack. It was so good. Like, I have a reaction for it on Patreon, but, you know, I'm not going to put a musical on YouTube. So, unfortunately, it was so much fun. Definitely got the waterworks going. Like, movie-wise, Mercenary Mind's Batfleck suit. Same. I mean, letting him kill. Dude very much stopped him at the end. I was like, who did Rhino kill? For that matter. I think we're being, stop being mean to Andrew Peter. Like I said, he's doing his best. I like the actually, took the hit, you know. I thought that was the most believable part about it, and the best thing to do was get kicked right back on. Any theories and predictions for Superman and Lois Season 4? Reign of the Superman. Reign of the Superman, probably. Death of Superman and Reign of the Superman for the season is my guess. I'm blaming the writing, not Andrew. I'm just saying that Andrew's name to show you which Spidey I'm talking about. First saw Andrew Garfield in Doctor Who, Season 3, the Tennant era, Daleks Take Manhattan, or whatever it is. That two-parter. Yeah, yep. Never asked that question to someone who reads comics, Scott. I don't know. Just joking. Have I seen Warrior on Max? I have not. I do want to watch it eventually. Favorite Mission Impossible villain? The one from the third one is the best. I'm going to be starting a rewatch of the first three, and then a first time watch of the three to follow. I've only ever watched the first 3 movies, but it's been over 10 years since I've seen any of them, so it's going to be a little bit of a refresher. So I can't speak per se on that yet, but I remember 3 being my favorite at the time. So I guess I will default to Philip Seymour Hoffman, I believe, was the villain in that one. Could be wrong, but whoever it was in that one. Like Sean Harris. Gotta head on Omni. Thanks for another fun stream. Hope you had a great week. Thank you, Christian. You as well. Hopefully Max doesn't beat our asses next week, and it actually works. Omni's not there yet to Ghost Protocol. Yeah, definitely haven't seen that yet. Which one is the best looking live action Spider-Man suit? Mine is Andrew Garfield's one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Andrew's second suit, I think. Even though I think it's a little too shiny. But other than that, yeah. If you could pitch any kind of video game, what would be your pitch? A Pokemon MMO, because how and why have they not done that yet? Does the suit at the end of No Way Home count? I mean, I like it, but I think I need to see it more clearly. Which of Andrew's suit? He has 3, I'm assuming. You mean The Amazing Spider-Man 2? But I'm just making sure. Yes. Exactly, I like Mando. I just view Disney Star Wars as another what-if continuation of Post-Return Jedi, just like Legends. So we have Star Wars multiverse with at least 2 continuities. I mean, there's only a multiverse if they ever intersect. Otherwise, it's just separate things. I don't really think you could just manifest a multiverse. You're not a true Spidey fan until you fight. It's true Spidey until you fight the Goblin. It's like a rite of passage. And he has graduated now. Hate Tony's involvement with Peter's life. They are not that close in the comics, yet Peter doesn't like Tony at all that much. Well, he did side with Tony for Civil War in the comics, and that bit him in the ass real fast. You have Legends canon, Disney canon. So in my opinion, I mean, Legends canon, Disney canon, and Lucas canon, if you want to say that. Lucas canon is literally just the movies in Clone Wars, because he himself has declared the EU and all the books non-canon. Like, he doesn't consider them canon to his universe at all. Like, so Legends canon is completely separate from the films, if you were to ask Lucas. So they do not exist in his timeline, in his mind. So if you want to fight George Lucas on that one, that's the rule of the land. Have a good week, Omni. Chat soon. Getting sleepy. Take care, Ragu. Get some rest. I know it's late for you guys, but I'll see you next time. Do you listen to the Always Hold On to Smallville podcast? I have never heard of that one, so that's a big old no. Think Sarah should have been in Flash Season 9? Should have? No. Would I have liked to have seen her? Sure. I like the Spider-Man 2 suit. What? The Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. What's your favorite old movie to recommend to younger audiences? Jurassic Park. If you want to go older, Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock. The Alfred Hitchcock one, not the Vince Vaughn remake. The original Psycho. Halloween. The Thing. Because, my God, the practical effects in The Thing. Here we go, looking around again. But this time at my posters. Jaws is an easy one, but again, I'm kind of thinking when you say old, I want to go farther back. I don't think we need to like continue to stroke off Citizen Kane. It's great. Don't get me wrong, but like I need to watch it again, like, cause I probably haven't seen it. Oh, man, I probably haven't seen Citizen Kane since I was in high school. But yeah, there's 100 movies I would recommend before Citizen Kane. Kind of be nice for Bugger reunion with Oliver Turning. Say what you want about The Amazing Spider-Man 2, the best cinematography and score in my opinion. Hey, there's definitely some positives in there. I'm gonna watch Rise of the Beast when it comes out on digital or streaming. Yes, that's the plan. I'm waiting for it to come out and I'm gonna react to it. So keep an eye out for that. Also planning Dick's apartment with some creative liberties, with his normal apartment on one side and his night cave on the other. That's also why the tower is gonna take so long. If you ever do any of these, I would love to see them. In case you can't tell, I absolutely despise the sequel. I had no idea, Scott. You never made it clear. I don't like them, but I don't like, I'm over it at this point. I like what I like what I don't. But for me, like, I know that it's rolling with it. We can't get rid of it. So I'm just kind of like accepting that I'm not going to like everything that comes out. And it doesn't change the things that I do like. Like, I like Mando, I like Andor, I like Clone Wars, I like Rebels, I like Obi-Wan, you know, I like all the shows that they've put out. But yeah, movies, Love Toby, Andrew, and Tom. All three brought something different, but Tom is my fave, and I would love more Andrew. I would also love Andrew. I just think he was wasted. You know, I just wish he had, I mean, again, this is my opinion. I wish Andrew just had better movies. Yeah, the best swinging scenes. Great swinging scenes, especially in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. What do you think happens with Homelander in seasons 4 of The Boys? Predictions. They still won't kill him. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't read the books. They seem to be hanging on to him for as long as possible. I don't know what the show would look like once we finally successfully killed him. So I don't know. I got nothing. I think Tom's suit looks too slick. It comes off as fake. I mean, it definitely doesn't have the texture that the other ones have, especially like with the webbing design. But I don't find that it looks too fakey, but it just looks like fabric that has a web print on it. So like, it looks tangible. I mean, it is real. Like, there is a real version of it, but no more fake than any of the other ones. It just doesn't, it's lacking texture, you know, compared to Andrew's and compared to Toby's. Yeah. Yep. What's up, Omni? Hope it's all is well, brother. So far, so good. Weekend's been pretty good so far. Rhino ran over a bunch of people. But are they dead? We don't know that they're dead. Am I into steampunk? No. I don't like any kind of punk. I don't like cyberpunk. I don't like steampunk. I mean, I don't like hate it, but I'm not into the aesthetic. If that makes sense. Cyberpunk is a straight, I just can't get into it. Like the coloring, like the Blade Runner-esque 80s synth kind of vibe, like that I like. But like body modding and it literally gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't. And I've just never been huge on steampunk. I've not really seen or played anything that really dove into it too hard, so I can't really say, I guess, too much. I've just seen a lot of steampunk art, though. I don't think I've ever actually played a game or watched a movie that was steampunk-ish. I guess the closest thing might be Wild Wild West. That was steampunky. I enjoyed that. That was fine. But I don't know. Maybe I just need to expose myself to a little more content like that. My own suit looks too shiny. Almost wet, and not in a good way. You mean the final one? Like, there's definitely a gloss to it, that's for sure. I never liked that too much. Too OOC for me. Random, but I'm on a weight loss journey and I've lost over 20 pounds. Well, congrats, man. Hell yeah. Keep it up. I've seen a lot of people hypothesize about why people aren't going to the movies right now, including money, streaming, too much CGI, not enough plot, etc. What are your thoughts about all that? Honestly, I think it's too expensive, and I think audiences have been trained that if they just wait like a couple of weeks, it's going to be in their house. And I think some movies are getting a little too samey. I think some people are tired of their IPs being bastardized, or seemingly so. Whether they're right or wrong doesn't matter. The truth of the matter, that's the narrative, and people are going to take the narrative rather than going to confirm it for themselves and spend their money on something they have doubts about. There's a whole lot of stuff. I don't think it has anything to do with the CGI. I don't think it has anything to do with the plots, other than we're seeing a lot of very samey movies. But you can say that about the original films. People weren't really going to see those either. So it's not like there's any one thing or the other. I think people right now, I think it comes down to the price of going out, the effort of going out, and just the convenience of just waiting for it to come to the house. Especially considering some of these movies, man, what? It was like the third week for Fast X and it was coming to streaming. Why? You fucked yourself there. We'll see. But I don't know. A lot of people were trying to figure it out. But I don't know. It's just how I feel. I don't have data. So we'll see. The Great Dictator still holds up and has some themes that we should probably listen to in the end. That's a very good one. That is a really good one. Might be a hot take, but I don't like the Sam Raimi suit that much. I like it. It's fine. I've lost my love for it in the long run. What was your favorite location in the show Gotham? Mine was the Sirens Club. Location. I don't know. Never really paid it. I mean, obviously we were in the locations, but I was more focused on the characters than where they were most of the time. Honestly, I don't remember many of them. I remember the last club that they all ended up fighting in the last season, like every episode. I don't remember which one that one was. It might have been the Sirens Club. I'm not sure. But I don't know that I would say I liked it all that much. I don't know. It's an interesting question I've never thought about, and I would honestly can't give you a solid answer unless I watched Gotham again. But maybe just the GCPD. I like the setup there, and I like the look of that place, so let's go with that. And the offices, and the pens, and the work desks, and all that. GCPD. We still watch the Mandiverse, even if it's leading to the sequel trilogy, as long as it tells a good story in its own right, which it has so far. What rating would you give Mando's Season 3 out of 10? For me, strong 7, week 8. 9. It's my favorite season of the show so far. Of the 3 live-action Spider-Man, who's your favorite suit? We've been talking about that. That's been the conversation for a little while now. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think, is my favorite live-action suit. When I become an old man, and I have a kid, and I want to make my kids watch the first Star Wars, Jaws, Jurassic Park, Halloween, Pulp Fiction, Batman, Karate Kid. I don't remember the names of the James Bonds, but the James Bonds. What about Spider-Punk? Spider-Punk isn't like a type of punk. That's just his name. I don't think that's the same thing. I mean, he's cool. It's real, but it's cleaned later with CG. I meant slick mostly because it looks too tight on the skin, as if no pleats or folds whatsoever, the name is. I gotcha. That's fair. Have I played Dishonored? I have not. Can the world between worlds be used to change timelines? No. There's no evidence that it can actually change anything for that matter. It's more of a destiny loop. If something happened, it always happened. So, I mean, I don't know. They could always change it up, but that's the implication that I got from it. So I don't think you can actually use it to actually inflict change. I like solar punk because it's a big FU to dystopian fiction, while also being ACAB and anti-capitalist, plus community-based positivity. What's an example of solar punk? I don't know that I know that. What I would tie that to. Love Spider-Punk. He was great. Yes, he was great. But not quite exactly feeding into the actual conversation. I mean, don't read the boys' books. I feel like if they wanted to kill Homelander, it would be in the finale of the show, and he may be the antagonist, but I kind of the main character, most popular. Yeah, I don't plan on reading the boys' books at any point soon. At least while the show is going on, I don't plan on reading them. There's some things I already know, just because I've heard in passing that the show's just taken like wholly different swings compared to what actually happens in the book, so I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to a Shaggy concert next week. Someone asked me, I'm like Scooby-Doo. That's funny. That's funny. That's hilarious. Pineapples on pizza should be illegal. Honestly, I've never tried it. It sounds disgusting, but I've never tried it. What gets me about modern blockbusters, budgets not being used well, and they think long equals good. That's another thing. A lot of these movies, and I've had this complaint, I think, for like a few movies now that I've seen, is like, this movie's just too long. That was one of my biggest problems with John Wick Chapter 4 is it was too long. So many of the action scenes go on, like, outstayed their welcome for me. Like Indiana Jones. I like the movie, but it needed to be shorter. There's a bunch of movies that I feel like could have been way tighter. That's another thing, time. People don't have time for these 3-hour movies and stuff like that. And it doesn't mean your movie needs to be. If your story, like, uses all of those 3 hours, great. Like, well, there's no skipped beats, there's no breath that can be taken out of it. Like, great. But, like, a lot of these movies have gotten into their heads that longer is better. And it isn't. It can be if it serves your story, but if you're purposely dragging it out, or you're like, I don't know. Like, some of these films do not need to be as long as they are. And it takes the impact out of a lot of the scenes for me. Looked up pops from Miguel, and I'm the only one that finds the blue too bright compared to the movie. I actually I haven't seen the pops for the new film, so I can't say. Are the Rocket movies super old? Because I would show that to my kid. I mean, 70s, 80s. So, I mean, depends on your definition of old. I would say Rocky, yeah, probably. I think I'd qualify that. And I would agree with that. I think the Rocky movies are very relevant. Hi, Omni. Kind of on lurk mode today. How are you in the chat? We are going good. And I think everybody's doing pretty good. But welcome in. And if you're on lurk mode, just hang out. No one's ever pressured to chime in if they don't want to. But I'm glad they're here. I have no problem with Bo-Katan being the focus. The story wrapped up perfectly beautifully. Season 3 could have been the final season, honestly. It could have been. Honestly, could have been. And then there's the big old lurky eyes coming out of nowhere, showing us that Barry is alive. Bit disappointed because he looks good otherwise. I saw the Blue Beetle pop. They already got those out when I was out getting lunch today, and I was like, I'm gonna wait until I see the movie, and then I might get it. But I almost got it. Is Jensen back for season 4 of The Boys? I don't know. I don't know. First TMNT is a classic. It's one of my favorite movies. I think it still holds up, and I would agree with that. But we get an Arrowverse event movie or an animated film. That would be cool. I would totally be down for that. You can see solar punk in Ghibli art, or in the meaning of in the environment and tech worlds. Tech working in harmony rather than man trying to overpower nature. It's mostly in literature, though some games are being made. Yeah, I need an example of it. Like, I don't know the Ghibli stuff you're talking about. I mean, I've only seen like three of that studio's movies. Totoro, Kiki, and Spirited Away. But I don't know. I can't visualize it. I guess like a balance of tech and nature, I guess, is all that is, but I don't know how that equates to solar punk. But I'm the aesthetic. I'm just trying to visualize it. You know what? Google's here. This is a solar punk. You know, it's kind of like at least just the Google search, it looks a lot like the ending of Free Guy or Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, the world they ended up in at the end. I forget, 816 or whatever it was, whatever the world was there. Kind of looks like that. What would be your Die Hard ranking? The first Die Hard, and that's it, because that's all I've seen. I've only seen the first Die Hard movie. Reaction is on the channel. Check it out if you have not. I read the boys' books, and now I do instant regret. Fun. Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want any spoilers for that. A show like that. I say the original RoboCop is old, but well worth a watch. I haven't seen it in a long time, you know. Long time. I'd have to watch it again to see if it holds up. I really hope the new Fallout series on Amazon is great. I feel like The Last of Us broke ground for movies based on video games, and video games are going to become the next source of material for film. I hope so. I've never been huge into the style of Bethesda games for the Fallout series, but I've always been fascinated with the world of the Fallout games. So it's been a weird, like, stalemate that I've had with them, because I've tried playing them and I could never really get into the games, but I love the aesthetic of the worlds. So I'm hoping the show's good and that can, like The Witcher, be a gateway into it. But hopefully it pans out a little bit better than The Witcher. The benefit of the Fallout series, if you have all kinds of vaults and all kinds of worlds and all kinds of different locations, and you can do your own thing, pretty much, as long as the aesthetic and the overall thing is still intact. Idea of it all. It's not a long movie at all, but it's just the time and sometimes attention span. I mean, I do love Lord of the Rings and Endgame, and they earn their time. They earn and use their time beautifully. You think Bo-Katan deep down really cared about Den and Grogu a lot? I think she did. I mean, like, she says there was a cut scene of them kissing that was removed, that they filmed, so who knows? She didn't hesitate for a moment to help them once Grogu came and asked for help. No, I think there's a little bit more to it. The only film I didn't mind after hearing the length of it was Oppenheimer. Nolan is the master of long films. I got to agree with that. Adam's Family is 90s, but it's still a must-watch. It's a good one. Moff Gideon defeated both Mando and Bo-Katan in one-on-one combat with his super suit. Don't forget the super suit made of Beskar. I mean, it's one thing. Like, if he was in what they had, I think any one of them... I mean, Mando beat him one-on-one, like in an actual straight fight. So... And he had the better weapon, too. So, I think Bo and Mando both are better skilled, but he just, like he's been doing his whole drive, is to become the perfect being. So, like, yeah. Are Guardian spoilers okay? Like, what do you mean Guardian? Guardians of the Galaxy or something else, Jenna? But yeah. He's not more skilled than either of them, though. The Boys honestly doesn't appeal to me. I have a lot of fun with it. Its magic is slowly starting to creep off. I really love the first two seasons, but and I liked a lot of what happened in season 3, but like I think a little bit of the mysticism is starting to like peel away from me. They already have Blue Beetle Pops? Yep. I saw it at GameStop today. Alien Predator are both great old films. For sure. Agreed. Kingdom Hearts 2 is still my favorite KH game. Yeah, it depends on my day, but 3 and 2 juggle between my favorite. Who would you cast as Kratos for a God of War series or film? Christopher Judge. Why not? He can easily just be Kratos. I'm loving the new 30th anniversary Nightmare Before Christmas Pops, which I want. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen any of them. I have to go look out for those. Do you know about the comic that Keanu Reeves is a part of? It's called Berserker. I know of it. I don't know what it's about, though. I haven't seen it or read it. Taxi Driver is a must-watch, but it's long. See, I didn't quite like Taxi Driver. I watched Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy before watching Joker because I knew, because they talked that they were inspirations for the movie. I'll just say, like, I wasn't a huge fan of either movie, really. They were okay, but I don't get the massive appeal for either of them. Peaches says hi. Well, tell that little punk I said hi, and kidnap her and make sure she doesn't escape. I don't think video games will become the new media mine for movies because we get very involved in video games with decision making tied to our emotions. We're passive with movies. I don't agree with that. It depends on the game, obviously, but you can make a video game into it. Like the games that are focused on a narrative, you can take the player component out of it and it'd still just be as compelling. Like Last of Us. I mean, like and the difference there is like they skipped out on some of the stuff that kind of kept the tension high, like the combat and stuff like that, like the infected being lessened, whatever. I think that's where they kind of messed that up a little bit. It wasn't enough to kill the show, but it was something I noticed. But like you could definitely keep the engagement there without having the character be invested, as long as you fucking know what the gripping elements are and focus on them and don't try to fuck it up. Gotta say, Die Hard 1 is a great classic. Die Hard 2 is just as fun. Hope you do a reaction. Maybe it would be a Christmas reaction. Do they keep up the Christmas theme? Because I've only really heard that about Die Hard 1. TMNT 3 and the first Michael Bay produced TMNT movie are the only TMNT stuff I don't like. I really don't like. Yeah, I'm right there with you on that. Currently watching, binging Star Trek Strange New Worlds. It's really good. I've never, outside of like I've said this a couple of times, I've only seen the first 2 J.J. Abrams Star Treks and First Contact. Outside of that, I've seen nothing else Star Trek related. How many seasons do you think the show can run for it loses its magic? I feel like with most shows, after the 3rd season, things usually go downhill. I mean, it just really depends, because there's some shows that I feel like just keep it going. Like Breaking Bad, never lost its flow for me. Game of Thrones didn't lose its magic until they lost material to adapt, and they just sucked at adapting it themselves, and that took 6 seasons. It just depends. Like the thing with The Boys, and the reason why I feel like it's starting to lose its magic, is it feels like every season is just the same thing again. Like they're doing different stuff, but the goal's the same, the objective's the same. It's the same kind of like over the top kind of humor to it all. And while it does push some boundaries here and there, and it tries to evolve the characters and stuff, at the end of the day, it just feels like I'm kind of watching more of the same. Which is fine, because what it is still really good, but I'm like, Homelander's just going to get away again, and we're just going to keep moving the goalpost. And that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I'm not like disinterested. I'm still really looking forward to season 4, but I don't have that hunger I did like when season 1 went into season 2 and stuff like that, you know? Like, I was still hungry for season 3 when that came out, but like in the middle of season 3, I was just kind of like, I don't know. It depends on the show and the execution, man. It's just right now, it just feels like rinse and repeat in the boys' side of things at the moment. Boys is okay, and watching is a bit much for me, so I've only watched them once. Star Trek, great. Who's a good casting choice for a live-action Spider-Gwen? I don't know who the kids today are by name, so I don't know. I don't know who I would say is a good Spider-Gwen. Regarding the Fallout show, I know nothing about it, but they would need to be careful the time it's presenting and the area, like Boston, Nevada, and not to step over extended lore. That's the thing. I don't know if they've said where it's at, but yeah, you're right. Unless they're adapting one of the specific games, so I don't know if they're doing like an adaptation of an existing game or if they are going to like kind of self-insert them into the world, because they could pick a random location that the games and the books have not touched on and just do whatever the fuck they want without really messing anything up, because there's like a shit ton of vaults that they've never touched on, that they've never explored. So who knows? I don't know exactly what they're doing. Now, if they are trying to adapt one of the entries, that's a different story, so I don't know. Also do not understand the appeal of Taxi Driver either. It's Emma Stone, I mean, maybe. I don't think she would fit a current Spider-Gwen movie, but maybe like if they had done one a little while back, maybe she'd be a great pick for it. Yes. How was Thanos able to shatter Cap's shield? Fuck if I know. I have no idea. I recommend you find a drive-in and go experience it. My family always went to the drive-in from time to time. I was a baby in the early 80s until they replaced it with a theater. I grew up in a drive-in. Yeah, I've always seen it in media, but I've never seen one. I've never been to one, so I would like to give that a try one day. I think video games can make good shows, just not much for movies. I think it depends. I think there are it's kind of like with books, you know. And I think TV shows are becoming a stronger medium for like broader storytelling, because like games are long, unless it's a Call of Duty campaign and it's like 3 hours and you're done. Like most of the time, it's just like with a book. There's a lot of stuff. You got to be careful what you're cherry picking and what you're using as your foundation to make it and keep it interesting. If you're trying to make a movie, which is where everybody fucks up, how do you condense an entire Tomb Raider game into like an hour and a half, 2 hour movie? It's hard. Like if you do a show, it's a little different. Like so I get what I think. Okay, I understand what you meant. But I think some of them could be done into movies, even though I think movies is a little bit too tight of a package to put most games into. But, I mean, some games, if you boil out all the puzzles and all the gameplay, some of them can be solved in an hour and 3 hours or such. Like The Last of Us itself, like if you just focus on cutscenes, is like 4 hours. So truncating it is doable, but again, we haven't seen too many people skillfully do this. Otherwise, you wouldn't have this stigma that video game movies have at this point. If you could pick one game to make a series or film adaptation of, what would it be? I would love an animated fucking Kingdom Hearts series, but not gonna happen. Most of the other ones I would pick are either have happened or are happening. Hell, let's do a Resident Evil show and actually fucking do this right for once. Hell, you don't even need a show. Like, I don't understand how no one can crack a Resident Evil movie. But show might be a little bit better. Other than that, I mean, I want to say Knights of the Old Republic, but that's a little too easy. I don't know. A God of War series is coming. A Fallout series is coming. A Warhammer series is coming. Even though I've never played Warhammer, but one is coming. A Dead Space movie would be wild. You could do that. I don't think you need a whole show for Dead Space, but a Dead Space movie would be good. Man, I think I just want a good Resident Evil, man. I want a really good Resident Evil movie. Ugh. When you watch The Boys, you get something out of it. Performances, superhero, humor, grit, etc. That's true. I mean, I never said you didn't. Story in The Boys season 3 kind of felt a little weak, but honestly, I'll watch that season on your channel, not the actual show. Don't say that too loud. That'll get people in trouble. Oh, the third Star Trek Beyond is really good in my opinion. I liked it better than the second. It feels more like Star Trek than the second, at least. I didn't hear great things about that one, so I just never went and saw it, so I'll have to do that. When you get to the drive-in, bring all your snacks and a few friends, and it must be a summer activity, plus 2 movies for cheap. Sounds like a lovely time. I definitely recommend Strange New Worlds. I think you'd love it. Maybe one of these days. Lower Decks is a bit odd. Haven't watched it. And these comedy shows, these animated comedy shows, because they were going to do a Lower Decks style X-Files show about interns in the X-Files, which is wildly stupid. Good, and that got shit canned, so we were saved from that. From the few reaction videos I've seen the show, I wanted to see Jensen Ackles. They should have let Jensen kill him. I mean, yeah, kill Homelander and then deal with him. That would have been interesting. Hope didn't hear great things either, so I'm not too eager. I'm gonna retire now, getting sleepy. Thanks for a good live stream. Be over at Discord chatting to myself about my Star Wars timeline journey to Ahsoka. Bye, Omni, and take care. Take care, Ginger Geek. Can't wait for your updates. There's some lore about what some vaults have been used for, i.e. experiments, but few have been presented in the games and books. Exactly. There's a whole lot they could really dabble into. As long as, like you said, like they don't cross over with stuff that have already been mentioned. So they would have to be very careful about that. I feel like season 4 is the final season since Carl Urban's leaving and he's the central character. Is that true? I hadn't heard that. Feels bad that I can handle the graphics of the original games to play them. Savage. Yeah, I'll read about them rather than playing the original ones. From a few clips I've seen of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, I think Kiernan Shipka wouldn't be a bad Spider-Gwen. She looks young enough and would go in the Spider-Verse age. I've only seen the first episode of that show, actually. I liked it. I just didn't continue it, unfortunately. I need to get back, finish that one of these days. Be whining, dining, and mining. Not so much mining, but we are whining. Nellie Alcock. Why does that sound familiar? Isn't she one of the House of Dragon peoples? Yeah. I mean, I could see it. Grace Van Dien would be good too. When you get back to 16, please remember that Gav is the ideal house husband. He's a bit of a himbo himself. I'll keep that in mind. Gears of War film is coming as well. Could you imagine a Diablo series? The amount of gore would be insane. I've never been a Gears of War person. I used to just actively dislike the idea of it. It might be one of those series I need to revisit eventually, but I could not get into Gears of War whatsoever when it was the big thing. I've only played a little Diablo, not much. I've played more Path of Exile than I've played Diablo, which is still kind of the same thing, but that could be fun. That'd be interesting to get into it. I like how in the boys show anyone could get brutally killed by a suit, but in the comics they just always use Compound V and lose the stakes. That's kind of disappointing. What's up, Flux? How you doing? We're about to close up. Or at least I'm trying to get to the end of this so I can pop off. You should definitely watch the anime Fighting Spirit. If you like Rocky, you definitely love it. It's my favorite sports anime. Not heard of that one. I have to check it out. I need to watch more anime. I need to get back into it. Silent Hill is an underrated film, the first one. I think Silent Hill, both of them actually, weren't bad. I don't think, they weren't like the best thing ever, but I think they were pretty okay. I enjoyed them for what they were. They're definitely up there in the middle to okay in video when it comes to video game adaptations. They're in the upper half, I would say. Carl and the guy who plays the Deep aren't renewing their contracts for more seasons. They only had a 4-season contract, and they've confirmed to not re-up. I mean, they can re-up the contract. I'm sure there's fan art somewhere if you Google Millie Alcock and Spider-Gwen together. Might have to look into that. Everyone deserves a good house husband. Yeah. This is more of a nitpick, but Huey and Frenchie look exactly the same and sometimes distracts me with who's who. Yeah, the comic art? Yeah, I get you. Comic-wise, yeah. 2 more hours. Well, I've already been going on for like almost 3 now. Let's see. As of now, I haven't heard for a while, but last time I heard. Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. But guys, we're going to wrap up. Let some of you guys get some sleep because you're on the other end of the pond and it's late for you all. I'm going to take a nap, probably, because I'm going to go to the late showing of The Red Door. And I'll give you guys my thoughts on that. And then tomorrow, if I have the energy, maybe we'll be playing more Final Fantasy tonight. If not, tomorrow. The only thing I need to do other than that tomorrow is finish the edit for Mission Impossible. Because I'm going to do Mission Mondays as we count down to, well, we're going to bypass the theatrical run, but I think I've timed it with the releases based on normal theater to streaming time windows, that I think once we're caught up with I would assume by the time we get to 6, we'll be able to jump right into the new one. But anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out. We had a fun little time ragging on Mike Wheeler and then just everything else. If you had a good time, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the like button. But I'll see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.